Thank you. You know what? It might be
I think we're.
something for a younger person like a child.
Hi,
But,
everybody. I
and
think
I
we're
know
live.
I dress like a child. I do, because I have the
Sometimes.
same shorts as my, Maya's best friend, who's 8, she told me.
Oh,
Okay.
well.
But in a bit much bigger size. Oh, she's live. Okay,
I'm
bye,
live now. Just
everybody.
went live. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Deborah.
Oh,
Eleanor
wait.
W. See, if you're a member, you can come to the Zooms, and they're running almost 24/7. You never know what's going to happen. Today we went to a couple of thrift stores and antique shops and stuff like that with people. And so that was fun. And we go on trips, sometimes just to the regular stores, sometimes the stores in different countries. Liza took us to
Safeway.
Woolworth. No, it was a Woolworths,
Woolworth,
right?
yeah.
Did you take us in the
Safeway,
Safeway
Woolworth,
too?
yeah.
Yeah, I knew you went to a Safeway. I don't know if we went inside. We went into a Wawa with Danielle. By Wawa, we went into Cumberland Farms at like 3 in the morning. Well, no, what time is it? It was almost like 4. When did you go to that Cumberland Farms? 3 in the morning with Nicole. We do a lot of fun stuff. So if you're a member or a Patreon, you can come in the Zooms with us and get to know each other better and go around on little field trips throughout the day. And sometimes that's why we're late. A lot of times that's why we're late, because we're just having too much fun to stop and come live. So, yeah, and sometimes we're crafting. Scooter was on crafting. Sharon was doing shells in her garage. And Gail was on showing some books and things. And now she's at the hairdresser and stuff. But, yeah. All right, so, yeah, consider that if you're a member of Patreon or if you want to become one. Come on in. All right, but we're going to talk about some true crime first because there are a lot of updates. The Debbie Collier case, I know, is just getting crazy. Hi, Eva. Hey, Whisper. Linda. I don't know who else I missed here. I know I missed a bunch of people. But I'm going to just, I'll get you guys in a minute. Let me just get through some of this here. So Debbie Collier, we've been covering this case, and it's every day. It's like there's something else going on, but it's looking like some weird stuff is happening. So the mother was reportedly seen. Debbie, the woman that was murdered, she was spotted at a store near the crime scene a day before police found her body, and she was at the store buying a lighter, a tarp, and a bag. And all 3 items that she bought that day were located at the crime scene. So, what was the deal with that? Was she told to get that? Like, did her daughter say, "Oh, I've got something to burn. Can you go pick this up for me?" I don't know. It's very odd, right? Yeah. So they have video surveillance of her at the store on September 10th, and her remains were found on September 11th. So very strange stuff going on that she was found with buying that stuff that was there. Investigators did obtain footage that shows Deborah Collier entering the store at 2:55 p.m. She remained there until 3:09 p.m. She appeared calm, not in fear of anything. All video footage obtained from the store and the surrounding businesses reflect that the victim was alone in the van at the time she visited the store. Investigators were further able to determine that Deborah purchased a rain poncho, a refillable torch lighter, a 2-roll pack of paper towels, a 7.5 by 9.5 foot OBD tarp, and a reusable tote bag. And this was confirmed by obtaining a copy of the store receipt and a copy of the video footage from the store's cameras. The information allows investigators to narrow the time of her death to a window beginning at 3:09 p.m. on Saturday, September 10th, until the discovery of her body, which was Sunday, September 11th at 12:44 p.m. The 59-year-old Georgia mother was found dead on September 10th after she allegedly sent her daughter, Amanda Bearden, $2,385 using Venmo. The mother reportedly included a message that read, "They are not going to let me go. Love you. There is a key to the house in the blue flower pot by the door. Investigators determined that Collier left her house with only her driver's license and a debit card. Last Sunday, police tracked a rental vehicle Collier was using to a wooded area 60 miles away from the family's home. Police scoured the vicinity of the vehicle. They found her body and a burned blue tarp in a nearby ravine. She was naked, charred, and deceased, police said. Although the case is being treated as a homicide, it's unclear how she died. At this time, there is no evidence to suggest or support that this incident was related to a kidnapping. So far, no arrests have been made and no one has been named a suspect, but we know that they've searched the daughter's home that she shared with the boyfriend, that there were lots of yelling, including the night before at the house. The neighbors said it was normal to hear yelling, especially, I guess, when the daughter came over. They had domestic violence reports between the daughter and the boyfriend. There was one incident in 2021 where the boyfriend accused the daughter of taking his money and buying dope. So, yeah, it's like a really bad mix of stuff. And it's not, I think. Now, why was she buying this stuff? Was it an elaborate scam, or did they tell her to buy this stuff for a totally different reason? To set her up for their, to say, oh, she bought the stuff. Is she going to commit suicide that way? Come on. I don't know. The whole thing is just crazy. And crazier and really horrible is the news we're going to hear about baby Evelyn. Baby Evelyn, Megan Boswell. So Megan Boswell is facing murder charges in Sullivan County, Tennessee, for the death of toddler Evelyn Boswell. Now, the little toddler was placed inside a trash bag while she was still alive, according to the testimony that was heard in court on Friday. Special Agent Brian Fraley from the TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, explained Friday morning how he came across 1-year-old Evelyn, who was deceased and had been hidden in a shed on her grandfather's property. It's the same shed her mother and accused murderer Megan Boswell played in as a child. He said, and I quote, "It was my belief the trash can was placed there recently. I observed a leg with a foot attached on top of the trash. It was consistent with an infant of the described age of the missing victim. The purpose of the hearing was to determine whether photos of Evelyn, said to be graphic, should be shown during Megan Boswell's upcoming murder trial. Boswell's lawyer, Brad Sproles, told the court that the photos were too disturbing and could cause the jury to convict Megan Boswell based on emotions about the photos. Forensic pathologist Dr. Darinka Polchan testified Friday as well, according to Tennessee Lookout, and explained why the photos would be important for the jury to see. The doctor described the position Evelyn was found in and confirmed that the child's death was a homicide and it was intentional. She added that the child was still alive when she was placed inside the trash bag and she was tightly wrapped in a blanket and aluminum foil. The disposal of this child was remarkable, she said. She was sort of compressed in the can like in an accordion-like position. There was a severe overextension of her head and neck, an extreme extension. The blanket was not just haphazardly placed around her body. It was tightly wrapped to prevent her from breathing. The blanket left imprints on Evelyn's skin. Megan has been charged with 19 offenses, including felony murder. She's also been charged with aggravated child abuse, aggravated child neglect, tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, failure to report a death, and 12 counts of making false reports. Evelyn was reported missing in February of 2020, almost 2 months after family members had last seen her. While authorities began a search for the child, Boswell allegedly lied to them numerous times regarding her daughter's whereabouts. And every time we talk to her, her story changes, said Sullivan County Sheriff Jack Cassidy. I'm serious when I say every single time. And then we know there was such a commotion with her mother and the boyfriend. Oh my gosh. On February 18th, 2020, the day authorities issued an Amber Alert for Evelyn Boswell, reportedly told a DCF worker that Evelyn's father, Ethan Perry, had the child and she planned to pick her up. Investigators said that Ethan Perry is stationed in Louisiana, actively serving in the military, and did not have the child. She later told the Channel 11 News that her mother took the baby to someone in a silver camper in Virginia. I told the TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mother took her to a campground in a silver camper. And if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself, because I told them they're not really taking it seriously. And if they don't go tonight, I will go myself and go get her, Megan Boswell previously said. Sullivan County Sheriff's Office Captain Andy Seabolt responded to Megan Boswell's claim. According to him, Boswell's camper claim was investigated completely. Authorities did not find Evelyn. The claim that Megan made, stating that Evelyn was in a camper in Mendota, was investigated completely, Seabolt said. According to the TBI Special Agent Brian Fraley, authorities eventually found the toddler's body in the shed on a property at 500 block of Muddy Creek Road in Sullivan County in March 2020. That property belongs to Megan Boswell's father, Tommy Boswell Sr. Meanwhile, Megan continues to maintain her innocence, and she reportedly claimed that Evelyn died after she or a boyfriend rolled over on her while sleeping. This was not, as Megan Boswell claimed, an accidental asphyxia, said the doctor on Friday. The manner of death was a homicide. In response to Boswell's claim of accidental suffocation, the doctor said the child was too big for that. This was not a child dying in her sleep. The judge decided to allow some of the graphic photos to be shown during the trial, which is scheduled to begin in February of 2023. So we'll see what happens there. Horrible to even think of that. Okay. And there's a cold case that was solved. Poor baby. Come on. Where's my mouse? My mouse is not cooperating. Okay. Virginia police announced on Monday they have identified human remains found in 2001 as a 17-year-old girl who vanished in 1975. Patricia Gildewy is reportedly the teen whose remains were discovered by a construction crew near a drainage ditch in McLean 2 decades ago. The initial review determined that the victim suffered a gunshot wound to the back of the head. The initial review also suggested that the victim was likely African American in her late teens to early 20s. Earlier this year, Fairfax County detectives elected the help of Othram, which is a Texas-based company that specializes in forensic genealogy and DNA testing. The company ultimately located Gildewy's half-sister, who divulged information about the 17-year-old's unsolved disappearance. In addition to misclassifying Gildewy's race at the time, the medical examiner also incorrectly estimated that the remains were there for 2 years before their discovery in 2001. However, police believe Gildewy's body had been there since the mid-70s. Fairfax County Police say they confirmed the remains of Gildewy in August. Gildewy's older sister, hold on a second. My little clients are they're playing and they're so cute, my little clients. Hold on a second, let me see if okay. Gildewy's older sister, who lives in Maryland, reportedly entered her DNA into an online database after she was gifted a subscription to Ancestry.com a few years earlier. She said that Gildewy was dating a man in his 30s who worked at an upholstery store in Vienna. The Fairfax Major Ed O'Carroll said they are investigating and interviewing him. So, okay, so let's get that back where we were. So her sister said They reportedly entered her DNA into an online database after she was gifted a subscription to Ancestry, and Gildewey was dating a man in his 30s who worked at an upholstery store in Vienna. So she was 17, he was in his 30s, and now they're going to interview him. Gildewey's sister claims that she vanished after she confronted her about the bruises. No arrests have been made in connection with the homicide. Her mother died in 2016. She was so worried about her, the sister said, and she never knew what happened to her all these years. And anyone with information regarding Gildewey's disappearance or death is asked to call the Fairfax County Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS, which is 8477. It's a lot of things being solved, right? Okay, so let's go back to this. We're going to go to the missing teacher, which is here. And Texas authorities are searching for a woman who's been missing since Thursday. According to the Houston Chronicle, Michelle Reynolds is a 6th grade reading and language arts teacher at Fairview Junior High, and details regarding her disappearance, including her last known whereabouts, were not provided. The Brazoria County Sheriff's Office is investigating her disappearance, and she's still missing. So let's take a look into this and see if we can find out any more, because really, not too much information. Okay. Let's go to an update. This is from 4 hours ago, so we'll see. Here's another picture of her. Right there. Uh-oh. Get over there. Okay. Texas authorities said they're working with the New Orleans Police Department to locate a missing junior high school teacher whose car was found in the city this week. So a car went from Texas to New Orleans. Brazoria Sheriff Bo Stallman's office said the husband of 48-year-old Michelle Reynolds reported her missing last Thursday, September 22nd, and that she was last seen driving a Lexus RX 300 with a Texas license plate RSV 2914. The agency said Reynolds had no known contact with family or friends since she was reported missing. But the press release raised more questions than it answered. The Texas Sheriff's Office said Reynolds' car was located in New Orleans, but gave no indication of when or where it was found, nor in what condition. A spokesperson for the Sheriff's Office would not say whether the woman had been expected to be in New Orleans for any reason when she was reported missing by her husband, Michael Reynolds. Now, on Monday night, it had no information to provide to the investigation at this time. Stallman's office said Reynolds is a teacher at the Fairview Junior High School and the Alvin Independent School District. Alvin is a small town of approximately 27,000 people south of Houston, and it's best known as the birthplace for the Hall of Fame baseball pitcher Nolan Ryan. Great. Okay, so that didn't tell us much more except the car. But let's I'll be quiet. Why does this do this? Okay. And we have another. I just want to go over this now real rough. Okay, so a killer is on the run, responsible for a drive-by shooting that killed a Texas woman who was 8 months pregnant. Jennifer Hernandez, 20, was shot in a drive-by shooting Friday evening in Houston. She was 8 months pregnant with a little boy, and a baby shower was planned the very next day. Both she and her unborn child died. So a witness named Rick said he's still having a hard time processing it because, I wish there was more I can do, but there wasn't. Deputies say Hernandez was in a blue Nissan Sentra with her 17-year-old boyfriend. They had just left a Shell gas station when a white four-door sedan with tinted windows and a paper license plate sped up behind them. The next thing we heard is a bunch of gunshots, Rick said. It just flew off, and it just keeps on going, like it didn't even want to be part of it, which understandably they didn't want to be caught from the ignorance they did. Hernandez was in the passenger seat on the phone with her mother. Rick, who ran to help and called 911, said she was shot in the face. She was on the phone with her mother, telling her, "I'm not going to make it, Mom. I'm not going to make it," Rick said. She was later taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Hernandez's boyfriend was also shot, but survived. He literally just rolled out of the car and kept saying, "Please help my girlfriend." A witness who wanted to stay anonymous said the injured boyfriend was wearing a ski mask. The sheriff's office said he was wearing the mask for the pandemic health reasons. Deputies are now searching for the shooter and a motive. They are asking the public for tips to help them find the killer. Hernandez's family wants justice for both the mother-to-be and her unborn child, who was supposed to be the first grandchild in the family. Meanwhile, the family has created a GoFundMe campaign to help with funeral expenses. That's very sad. Okay, now. Back to okay, so here's a boy they're saying is in trouble with this woman here. 10 months ago, a boy in New York told investigators that his mother was abusing him, according to a daycare director who heard the interview between the child and investigators. Till this month, however, he was still in his mother's care. 44-year-old Susan Orendorff was arrested last Tuesday, and that's 10 months after daycare director Karen Sweeney was reportedly assured by child abuse investigators that the victim would be removed from Orendorff's care. Onondaga County Sheriff's Office spokesperson Sergeant John Sieber said Orendorff is accused of tying the boy to a bed, refusing to feed him, and strangling him. A criminal complaint was filed in the Camillus Town Court, and it states the abuse had been ongoing for 5 years. "I don't understand," Karen Sweeney, who is the director of Partners in Parenting Child Care Center in Camillus, said on Friday. I sat through the interview, and in detail, he tells this woman how he was abused, and he gives her very specific details. Anyone who works with children and generally cares about him would know this boy is in trouble. CNY Central reports the court documents claim that from 2017 until September of 2022, Orendorff consistently withheld food from the child. In September of 2022, he was hospitalized, weighing just 57 pounds. Sweeney said the victim was enrolled at her daycare when he was 10, and Sweeney could immediately tell something was wrong. Orendorff allegedly sent a set of strict instructions on how and when to feed the child, which stated he needed to be restricted from amounts of both food and drink. The victim would routinely come to daycare with bruises on his body and cuts on his body. Orendorff reportedly explained that the injuries happened while her son was playing and fell down, but the victim, who developed a close bond with Karen Sweeney, began opening up to her, explaining what was really happening at his home. From there, Sweeney then contacted CPS for help and learned that numerous other adults in the area had been reporting the alleged abuse to CPS for years. Sweeney added that Orendorff had 2 biological children that were well taken care of. The 11-year-old is her adopted son. Lauren Thornton, a waitress at Tully's restaurant, told CNY Central that she became familiar with the Orendorff family as they were regulars at the restaurant. "He looked scared. He looked sad," Thornton recalled. "There was no connection toward him from the mother. She was always yelling at him, always had this disgusted look on her face. You could tell there was no love there at all. In 2021, Sweeney accompanied the child as he gave specific details of the abuse to investigators. There's no way a child can describe what he described to her and go home with that mom. That's exactly what happened, Sweeney said, and I promised this child this time it's going to work. And it didn't, because after that, she took him out of the program. Some of the details of abuse included pulling on the child's genitals as punishment for wetting himself. When she tied him to the bed, she reportedly left him there overnight with nothing on but a diaper. Sieber later told local reporters that the sheriff's office got involved in the case this month, but he was not aware of whether CPS was involved in the case until the sheriff's office began investigating. Sieber said investigators are currently going through the CPS database for answers. We always encourage the public to call 911 if they suspect that child abuse is occurring. The victim has since been removed from Orendorf's care. She's now facing 1 count of unlawful imprisonment, 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child. That's crazy. Georgia man is behind bars after police say that he stabbed his 4-year-old nephew on Sunday morning at around 8 a.m. Police arrested 19-year-old Anatoly Balestra for the incident, which happened at a home off of Lewis Ridge Circle in Lawrenceville. Police say drugs may have played a part in the stabbing, but they're still conducting an investigation. The child was transported to a local hospital and is expected to fully recover from his injuries. Thank goodness. Gwinnett County Master Police Officer Angela Carter said the child's mother was home at the time, but was possibly asleep when the stabbing occurred. Another family member inside the home managed to contact 911. Due to the severity of the assault, the Division of Child and Family Services is now involved. It's unclear whether any other children live in the residence. Anyone with information about the case is urged to contact the Gwinnett Police Department detectives at 770-513-5300. Oh, and then we're going to go, I forgot to put on the thumbnail about the Russia shooting. We're going to talk about that too. Just a minute, but California man, 37 years old, was arrested on Sunday morning because police say they were tipped off that he was preparing a Las Vegas-style mass shooting and had a specific deadline for it. The Chico Police Department said its detectives obtained evidence of Dallas Marsh's intent to commit a mass shooting and set about locating him. Police say they arrested Dallas Marsh near a Super 8 motel without an incident, but that afterwards he threatened to kill police officers and their families, and he battered an officer with a table during his interview. Marsh has been charged with criminal threats of death, with great bodily injury, threats of violence against peace officers, and battery against a peace officer. Investigators provided no further information about the tip or evidence that was uncovered, nor did they say if Marsh was caught with any weapons. The Las Vegas-style shooting took place in that city in 2017 when a gunman opened fire on a music festival from a nearby hotel, which killed 58 people and wounded hundreds more. No motive was ever uncovered in that. So, well, okay. And do this, and then we'll go to the Russia shooting because that's a bizarre case. Infant covered in bruises, deemed brain dead, died on life support, and the mother and the boyfriend are charged. They're a South Carolina couple. They were arrested earlier this month for the death of the woman's 4-month-old child. Cassandra Cloutu's baby was found unresponsive, and on September 6th, Richland County Police observed bruises on the infant's back, arms, legs, and ears. The baby, who was placed on life support, was deemed brain dead 2 days later on September 8th. An autopsy stated that the infant had an acute rib fracture, severe brain and eye hemorrhaging, and various bruising that was already discovered by police and medical staff. Investigators concluded the baby sustained injuries days before the deadly incident. The mother, 27, reportedly claimed that her boyfriend, Philip Coker, 34, was watching her child, and he woke up to find the baby unresponsive. He then called for help. However, authorities said the mother failed to seek medical attention for the baby in regards to the incident that happened days earlier. Mother and Coker were arrested on September 16th. The boyfriend is charged with homicide by child abuse, while the mother is charged with unlawful conduct towards a child. It's terrible. And we have a missing girl in Memphis, 14 years old. She didn't come home from school on Thursday. Michaela Rhodes, last seen wearing black pants and a hoodie with red shoes. She's wearing her hair in 2 twists. She wears glasses. Police say she was dropped off at school Thursday morning but never came back home. She's been diagnosed with depression and ADHD and does not have her medications with her, police say. Anyone with information is asked to call 901-636-4479. Hopefully she's found. Okay, now we're going to go to the... Okay. So, this is a mass shooting, this time in Russia at a school. Police and paramedics are working there in that photo of at the scene of a shooting at school number 88 in Russia on Monday. 15 people were killed, 24 were injured in a school shooting in the Russian city of Izhevsk, which is 600 miles east of Moscow. The Kremlin called the shooting a terrorist attack. A gunman entered school number 88, which teaches the 1st to 11th grades, and killed 4 adults and 11 children before killing himself. Videos from the scene that were broadcast on TV and posted to social media showed children frantically running through the halls of the school and emergency workers evacuating the wounded. The authorities said the attacker, who was armed with 2 pistols, was wearing a black top with Nazi symbols and a balaclava and was not carrying any ID. Russia's top investigative body identified the gunman as Artem Kazantsev, a 34-year-old who had previously attended the school. He had lived with his mother in the city, which is the capital of the Udmurt Republic. Alexander Vrakolov, the region's governor, said he had been registered with the local psychiatric clinic. The details Russian authorities provided could not be independently confirmed. The incident bore eerie connections to the 1999 shooting in Columbine, Colorado, in which 13 people were killed by 2 students, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. 2 braided cords that were attached to the pistols in Monday's shooting bore the names Eric and Dylan, and the ammunition had been inscribed with the word hate, according to images released by local media. The Russian authorities have sought to crack down on what they call the Columbine movement, a decentralized group of gunmen that the prosecutor generally recognized as a terrorist organization, in February calling it a widely developed structure that is coordinated using the capabilities of the internet. The law enforcement bodies also connected 2 shootings last year to the movement. One in May of 2021, a gunman entered a school in Kazan and killed 9 people. In September that year, an 18-year-old killed 6 people and injured 47 on a university campus in Perm near the Ural Mountains. And that is a memorial to the victims of the shooting on Monday. President Putin of Russia expressed his condolences through his spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, saying, President Putin deeply mourns the deaths of children at a school where there was a terrorist attack by a person who apparently belongs to a neo-fascist group, Mr. Peskov told reporters during a phone call. The president wishes for the recovery of those injured as a result of this inhuman terrorist attack. The school shooting is believed to be the 13th mass killing in the past 3 years. Russia tightened gun laws after the shootings in Kazan and Perm. Those killings were carried out with legally obtainable weapons. It was not clear where the gunmen in Monday's shooting obtained the weapons. 2 of the adults killed were security guards, and there have been chronic issues in hiring security guards in the Udmurt Republic. The shooting came on the same day a gunman opened fire at a Siberian military enlistment center, injuring a recruitment officer as anger mounted over Mr. Putin's plan to mobilize hundreds of thousands of civilians to bolster Russia's struggling army in the Ukraine. There appeared to be no link, however, between the shooting at the school and the conflict in the Ukraine. Okay, let me just go here for a second. Let's see what's going on here, if we have anything. Okay. And then the Hurricane Ian, Ian, I cannot speak today, is supposed to hit Florida, and let's see what's going on there. I know a couple of our Florida Ramblers have talked about what's going on, and so let's see what's going on. Why is my mouse is not being cooperative? The storm was already dropping rain and heavy winds across the island as it nears Cuba. Forecasters predicted the hurricane would then head to Florida's west coast, making landfall by Thursday. Parts of Cuba were beginning to feel the effects of Hurricane Ian, and that was early Tuesday as the powerful storm is headed north ahead of an expected landfall in western Florida later this week. Forecasters in Cuba estimated that the storm would pass over the western edge of Cuba's main island shortly after 2 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, reaching the North Shore by about 8 a.m. That part of the 750-mile-long island is about 60 miles across. And as of 2 a.m. Eastern time, this is right just now, the eye of the storm was about 50 miles south of the Cuban city of Pinar del Rio. The National Hurricane Center of the United States said in the forecast, Pinar del Rio is about 15 miles north of Cuba's southern coast by car. And 38 minutes ago, an outer band of the storm dumped heavy rain across parts of Miami on Monday, and some downtown storm drains began to overflow. The city of about 500,000 people was forecast to receive up to 4 to 7 inches of rain on top of whatever extra water the hurricane could push towards shore. And that was from the mayor, Francis Suarez. Along the Gulf Coast, Floridians stock up and batten down the hatches. The Gulf of Mexico was deceptively calm on Monday under mostly sunny skies as people started to prepare for Hurricane Ian. Homeowners brought in their lawn furniture. They put plywood over their windows. Many people made grocery runs. At least 3 Publix grocery stores in the St. Petersburg area had run out of bottled water by Monday morning. Charcoal and propane supplies were running low as long lines formed at the checkouts. Soda, Gatorade, beer, and toilet paper were piled in many a shopping cart. see. Okay, so we have that. So everybody in Florida, stay safe. Get out of there if you're supposed to get out of there. See what else we have here. Clients. Okay, I think I'm trying to see if there's anything else here what to talk about on the headlines. Monkeypox is appearing to recede. That's good, right? California faces new question on its power supply. Just trying to see if there's anything. So I'm going to go to something a little bit different, and let's see here. Trying to find this now. Let's see. I don't want to see that more. How come they're not having? Okay, let's try this. Okay, I guess I'm looking here to see if there's anything else but I'm going to talk about now part of a interview, because I wasn't able to hear the whole thing, but there's an interview, and I'll link the interview. It's Stephen Nolan interview with Ian Lee, and it's going over again the stalking of Alex Belfield, and the reason I want to bring this up is because some people, think that in order for something to be considered stalking, the people have to come on YouTube, okay? They have to come to your channel and stalk you. And why can't you just block them? Well, they are blocked on my channel, and before they were blocked, they were coming here and leaving comments, which I have their comments. They were contacting me through messages before they were blocked, which I have those messages. They were sending me pictures of themselves, which I have those pictures. So I understand why they're nervous. I understand why they're scared. Criticizing someone is one thing. That's not it when it's relentless. Have you not learned anything? It's relentless attacks. That is stalking, targeted harassment. And every one of those channels is guilty of that. Every one of those commenters that never stop commenting with all of their hate, the ones that released information about my daughter, the ones that released information about my sister-in-law, the ones that released information about my family, the ones that lied about my son, the women that made a video lying about my son and all the communication, conversations, screenshots, everything that talked about what they were going to do, which was absolutely horrendous, and they were already trying to come out ahead of that. Believe me, nothing is going to make you look good on that. Nothing. You're not going to spin that. You're not going to spin that. That is horrendous. And more than you won't spin it to anybody. If you truly do believe in God, I find that absolutely disgusting. But that, to go and target a grieving mother, lie about her son by putting a video out when they were on vacation, plus the water park stuff and all the stuff in the comments, plus how that email ended up on the video. You guys are in so much crap, it's not funny. But you put out a video and you say, oh, okay, it's not going to be anything if I do this. No, it is. And you should have thought of that before. You were just counting on that the laws would never change and you'd get away with this crap because you felt you always did. And it's okay because you're disgruntled in your own lives to rip apart somebody else night after night, night after night, day after day, day after day. And then even in the videos where you're trying to claim you're innocent in this, you take a picture in my kitchen which shows stalking and put a horrible thing on my face. Not too smart there. Not too smart. Nor is your photoshopped pictures of me that you're releasing today. That's all further evidence of your stalking and harassment. So, good one there. Candy from a baby. You guys are making so many mistakes. And how could you really think you're going to talk about what you were going to do in making that video about my son, and you were not going to tick off some of the people that were going to come forward with evidence? You're just that full of yourselves, right? Everything disgusting, disgusting. But you've got to live with yourselves, and that's the worst thing. And I will do every single thing to make sure you're all held accountable. Yeah, you were stupid to go after my son. Stupid. That was dumb. Really dumb. And I won't stop. I won't stop. Legally, I won't stop. So when you listen to some of the stuff that Alex Belfield did, and you compare it with some of the stuff that these people are doing, it is outrageous that they think they will not be held accountable for this. But Ian said in that video that he was, after he left the BBC, that Alex Belfield and cronies called in and said that a producer that worked with Ian in the past was collecting phone numbers for him of people that were glad that he was done there at the BBC. And so then he was going to stalk them and get their information. Sound familiar? Yeah. That was all fake, false reports. But the producer had to be tormented for 3 months while an investigation went on. He would do, call into shows, send emails, leave comments, take pictures of people's kids, sound familiar, and torment them with them, put crosses through them, state all kinds of things that are false and fake. They would attack people's bodies, sexuality, their marriages, their parenting. Just all all the stuff that's done here. And then they asked about YouTube. Well, is the YouTube doing anything about it? Well, I am so glad, because all of these people, they got their justice in a courtroom. But YouTube still has not taken down this stalker's videos. They've demonetized his channel, but they haven't taken down his videos. And they're not going to stop until YouTube, Twitter, Facebook takes down everything that he put out there, because he is a convicted stalker. And there's going to be more people that are coming out about him and about others. And this is going to be the way. This is the first case that has really gotten justice for the victims. And it's not going to be the last. And it set a precedent. What these people are doing is not free speech. It's not okay to do it on a channel. That's what Alex Belfield did on a channel. Do you even know the case? I know you're trying to hashtag majorly Ian Lee and pretend that you're victims. Don't you think he sees through you? Don't you think I've shown him what you're doing? I mean, there's no self-awareness that you have at all for what you're doing. So keep on with that, because you're just giving us more evidence. You haven't taken down your posts that are accusing me of something that you have no proof of, and you were stating with absolute certainty, inciting hate against me. You haven't done that. You haven't taken my kids off, so I will continue to strike you. You already, that one channel, had one strike from September 3rd or 6th that is active and standing, and got 3 more today. And they are not false. I know they want to say, oh, they are false copy. No, they are not. They are true, and they are deemed true by YouTube. You took my content without permission, and you are using it to stalk and harass me. That is not fair use. Fair use is not stalking and harassing. Learn. Plus, you're not going to use my minor children. That's not fair use. And you say, oh, okay. No, it's not false. Take down your videos, because I'm going to strike them all. Yes. And if you put up another channel, I'm going to report you to YouTube for circumventing a ban. And I'm going to have all the other people help me. And I'm going to bring this to everybody's attention. And if you do start another channel in the interim, and you use videos of mine, I'm going to strike them. And if any channel that's harassing me has my videos up there, I'm going systematically down, and I'm giving you warning. You could have had I gave you warning, but you didn't heed it, right? You just said, oh, test me, trying to scare me, which all of that language, those threats you're giving me, you're going to be in trouble now, hold on. That's not going to look good for you in court at all. And I know you're putting on this big posture that you're not afraid. I know who's behind that channel. And I know that they're afraid. And they're part of that channel. And they're part of the ones that decided to make that video on my son. Right, Davita? Right, Davita? Davita Lane. Davita Lane creates. Right, Davita? I am astonished. Absolutely astonished. Is that why you made such a big deal about me forgetting a date? Because you thought it was okay? It would explain what you did? They're not even in the same league. It's disgusting what you did. And all the others with you. But especially someone who lost a child, to do that to another mother that lost a child, that's disgusting. And I know you're scared because your little wholesome image on YouTube and your little fake food. But your fake food is right because you're fake. Okay? It is. All this little stuff is so fake. Because only an evil person would do that. And I will never stop until you are behind bars. Yes, just like Alex Belfield. Never. All of you. You picked the wrong mother to target. You didn't count on the fact that people would be disgusted by what you did. And that they would walk away. And that for whatever reason, whether it was to get some absolution for any part, whether it was disgust, that they just couldn't live with themselves if they didn't do something, people are coming forward with evidence, okay? No wonder you wanted to crash and burn your Slack, right? You don't think people had information before that? Okay, so that's what is considered stalking. It is on Alex Belfield's channel. It's on your channels. So all of the stuff you guys did behind the scenes. So all the lies. Go listen to it. Some of the stuff you people are doing is beyond even what Alex Belfield did. Because Stephen Nolan plays a little clip of it. It's not even as vile and nasty as what you guys do on a daily basis. I know. You'll see. That's all I'll say. You'll see. Keep threatening me. Keep threatening me. Okay, I'm going to go now into, we're going to see if we can move that. Okay, now I'm going to go into the chat. Lisa Pack, who's going to jail? Well, Alex Belfield is in prison, and that's for stalking. And they are going to go to prison for stalking as well, because I will never stop fighting it until there's justice. It is wrong, Tracy Kloss, and thank you for coming in. Stop cyber stalking. But you think they will? No, they won't. They'll keep upping it. You're already in enough trouble. You already have enough evidence. Do you just feel like it's a lost cause and you might as well keep going? Laws are changing, yeah. And they think, oh, if I write a blog post and I say that Mommy Ramblings is Alex Belfield, are you insane? Do you think one look at your channel, one look at my channel, one look at what you're doing behind the scenes, they don't know who is doing what? Wow. You are, I don't even have the words, because it's beyond delusional. Scooter was here earlier. Tracy, she was here with us crafting. We were crafting before we came on. And yeah, things will change. And Saul Goodman, if you are pretending you're Saul Goodman and you don't know who Alex Belfield is, you better go back to your fake law school, because you certainly need it.
So good. I'm just saying, that was a really good one.
He doesn't know. He represented himself too, Saul. So I guess you didn't really know him, huh? Yeah. Hi, Margot K. Yep. Hashtag stop cyberbullying. Hashtag stop cyber stalking. Cyber stalking has probably even worse effects than physical stalking now. The internet is real life, and that's what I've said it for a long time. All of these abusers love walking around and saying it's not real life, it's not real life. It is real life. It is real life. You're not in some fantasy game. Saul, I know why you're here, because I'm smarter than the average bear, okay? So I think I'm being probably most welcoming because I know exactly who you are and why you're here. And I'm still letting you stay in here and entertaining you. Presence for a little longer before you are blocked. So, you've never been to North Carolina? Why would you have to go to North Carolina? I don't live in North Carolina, Saul. Who lives in North Carolina? What does that have to do with anything? Alex Belfield. What are you talking about? He doesn't live in North Carolina either. Hi, Nana T. So, Nana T, did you get your napkins? Hope you did. The law is getting tired of sweating. Yeah, the law is tired. The CPS workers are tired. They're getting numerous reports across TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook every day. They're tired of it to the point that they no longer want anonymous reporting. And they're going to the DA to change that. Their time is being wasted chasing all this stuff that's happening. That's real life when you make a complaint because you want to, or you're jealous of someone and you want to get them. Yeah. Calling in SWATs that are getting people killed and wasting the police's time. Yeah. All of that crap. Yeah. Why am I in top chat? You see Korean buddy Glenn Glenn?
No, Nana said that Saul is Glenn Glenn.
No,
Glenn?
I think she's meaning the other Glenn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think his was, I don't know if his had the Esquire. Dana T did it. Whoever it is, it's just, yeah. Someone stalking and harassing. Hi, Debbie D. Hi, Flo. Hi, Bridget. Oh, look what Bridget it is. Hi, Bridget from that Stalker channel. I'm glad, because they said you're not stalking us. You most certainly are stalking us. You see, until we block you, which we do, and then you continue to stalk us. But we have those screenshots. Thank you for that, because we have your comments all over the other channels with your hate. So this is proving, Bridget, that you're stalking us. Thank you for that proof, and thank you. Let her stay here. This is all proof. Yes, that's true. No one mentioned Trisha but you. Very interesting. Very interesting. It most certainly would be a two-way street, and somebody that was harassing or stalking you should be worried, but I have never harassed or stalked you or anyone else. I don't do that. I don't have to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm not that type of person. I am happy running my own channel, doing my own thing, and I have been the victim for almost 4 years. Your silly words don't make anything you say true. The truth is in the evidence, and we have tons of it, databases of it. And you know what? People are running scared. Thank you, Bridget. And they're sending emails, and they're talking about stuff because they don't want to be lumped together with things that were done. But I don't think you guys counted on the laws changing so quickly, that someone going to prison so quickly, and everything shifting and changing, and people running around trying to save their own arse and throwing whatever they have to do to save themselves. Because after all, you guys were only hate bonding. It was never real love, real friendship, or real bonds. And in the end, it's every man for themselves, and they're all trying to save themselves. Oh, is Rambling Recruiter here? Hi. Oh, you're okay, Rambling?
I'm doing good, Rambling. Thanks for asking. I hope you're doing well.
I don't think your Bridget is doing well, Rambling, or your Saul Goodman. It's all good, man. I don't think Tracy's doing good, Rambling Recruiter. No, I'm just telling you who I don't think is doing good on YouTube. Rambling, I'm just telling you who I don't think is doing good. I don't think Karen is doing good. I don't think Lisa's doing good. Oh, that's great, Captain Lee fan. Your mom might get out of the ICU today. That's great. Or tomorrow. She doing much better? So, what else is new? Feels like it's Tuesday. Today was Monday, right? Feels like it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday now. Oh, well, as when I said that, I just didn't want you to confuse that with what I call our Bridget. So I didn't really. Maybe I should have said not our Bridget. I don't think she's doing well. Not our Bridget.
Well, yeah, we have another Bridget, so she was.
I could say a good Bridget, a bad Bridget. I don't know. Maybe let's just say I don't think the Bridget that is not ours. I don't want to use ours. That's not our friend. Is not doing well, I don't think. No, I just explained to you that rambling, right? What did I just say? What did I just say? Don't worry, rambling, because if you are or you aren't connected with those two channels, it's all going to come out.
Rambling, you didn't do anything wrong. You come in here every night.
Well, not that we can see yet.
Yeah.
Don't worry. If you've done nothing wrong, there's nothing to worry about. If you've done things behind the scenes that are wrong, then it's normal to be worried like these other people are.
Yeah.
So that's it. People could say what they want. It doesn't bother me because I know that I haven't stalked anyone. I know that I haven't harassed anyone. They can say, oh, she called this, she called that. I didn't do it. And it will never come up because I didn't do it. So I'm not afraid. They could, that whatever they're saying and the false accusations just implicates them in the stalking. Oh, not you, Tracy. No. It's another Tracy. Oh, that's great to hear that, Rambling Recruiter. Because it would be pretty bad if you were, right? I mean, for you. Unless you just... I know your avatar is orange. I hope you don't like the color orange. Or maybe... Well... So instead of proving Paul is innocent, he goes off and says different things and says everyone is old and rude by being rude himself. Oh, did he go off? Did Saul went off? Sorry, Saul, that you... Some people get triggered. There's a lot of people getting triggered. But yeah, I'm going to tell you again. If you are using my videos on your channels, I'm going to strike every single one of them. Because number one, you have no permission. Number two, it's not your content. Number three, you have my children in some of those videos. Number four, it's not fair use when you stalk and harass and do everything against YouTube terms of service. So let me check on how many strikes that one channel has. Because they even lied about that and said they had 3 in one day. No, you didn't get 3 in one day. You got the first one September 3rd, and then you had 2, but now I think you've already got your 3rd for today, so that would make 4 total, right? You have 4 total right now. And if you want to waste money on a lawyer to hide your names, which we already know from the channel, believe me, my attorney is going to be calling that lawyer. And I know you say, oh, they don't represent that channel. They most certainly do represent that channel. I guess you've never seen the letter that YouTube sends. So the lawyer will be alerted that they are the representative of the channel that is stalking and harassing me, like your other attorney was when he cut you loose, and looked at the content and said that he didn't even know about that content. Okay? Yeah. So go on and waste your money on an attorney, but they're gonna cut you loose because they're never going to stand behind that. Not with the laws changing, and not going to risk their law license for a few $100s from you. Yeah. And you know that too. You know that too. So, be aware. And you should really learn what the YouTube letter says when we get it, that they are a representative of that channel. And as a representative of that channel, they can be reported to the FBI, to the state police, and they can also be legally responsible for stalking and harassment. And I don't think they really want to risk going to prison and losing their law license, again, for a few $100s. So where was I? Have to go over here. Oh, and let me see here. Removals. Okay, so today, that one channel has the first strike September 3rd. Today, they've received 1, 2, 3, total of 4, and there's more pending. So when those can come through in the next minute, the next hour, the next half an hour, whatever, there will be more. And the other videos that we haven't gotten to yet, if you don't remove them, we're going to strike those all too. And it's not mass reporting because I'm only putting in one report because I'm the content owner. It's my right to do it. You don't own my content. My content is original. It is all original. But you're not using it in any way that the law would ever stand behind. And when you are planning to circumvent a ban on YouTube, we will report you. And I know you're loving to be monetized, but you won't be monetized. You see another channel, what they're doing. And once they have the ban, even if you circumvent it and you get away with it enough to get monetized again, as soon as they discover it, you're gone again. Because what you're doing, when you get your channel deleted, you cannot start another channel. You have a ban. A ban. And when you circumvent that, that's totally against YouTube terms of service. And you're outwardly stating that you're doing that. creating another channel in case your channel is taken down, terminated, and you're going to go on another channel. Not too smart. Not too smart. And all the channels that are promoting it, promoting your link, not too smart. Just saying. Hi, Petty Patty. We're doing good. We're doing good. What's up, Petty Patty? What do you think, Petty Patty? Are you following the Debbie Collier case at all? Do you know why she would be buying the lighter, the tarp, and all that? Are you following that case? Hello, Tammy. Hi, Deborah Vancouver Dan. Oh, Sunshine Girl. I have no clue why she would buy it. And then 7 minutes later is when they transferred the money. That's a lot of red flags there. Yeah, I'm thinking, you think the daughter told her to buy it? Or do you think, like, of course there's things they're not telling us, but did they have the mother think that there was some kind of a kidnapping plot, but it was done by someone else and told her to get those things, almost like a ransom? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm wondering. I don't know. It's such a strange case, right? I mean, and then the daughter showing up there, right? Hysterical. And they said in the original report there were family members that showed up there. It's crazy. It's just nuts. I know, Captain Lee fan. It's very confusing. At first, it looked one way, and then it didn't. Daughter or the daughter's boyfriend. Yeah, exactly, Petty Patty, because there's a lot of red flags there. Oh, I wanted to read to you some stuff that her son said. That's what I forgot to read to you. Her son. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, hang on. Whoops. All right. Okay, so let's see here. Oops. So Deborah Collier's naked, burned body was discovered in a Georgia ravine September 11th, one day after she sent her daughter $2,385 on Venmo with the message, "They are not going to let me go." Now, Amanda has a violent boyfriend who once threatened to hurt the entire family, saying, "If you or your family ever come near me again, I will hurt them." Her boyfriend is a former amateur MMA fighter, Andrew Gingrich. And according to the police documents, May 2021, Amanda Bearden claimed that her boyfriend had broken into her home, screamed at her, and attacked her. When police arrived, they found bruises on her body. Gingrich was arrested and ordered to stay away from Bearden, who was also arrested and charged at the same time for making a false police report by saying that Gingrich broke into the home they lived in together, which was owned by Debbie's husband, Steve. That's her mom's husband. Gingrich pled guilty to the domestic violence charges in January, but was arrested for violating his parole last month. Now, he said he and Amanda had their phones confiscated by the police. They've interrogated all of us. The people who are closest to Debbie are kind of looked at as suspects now, the boyfriend said. Now, when Debbie was found, her body was naked, her hands were still grasping a tree, and her stomach was charred. Detectives found a red tote bag. That's the one that she was buying, a partially burned blue tarp, and that was also the one she was buying when they combed the scene for clues. Her son, Deborah's son, Jeffrey Bearden, said his family is struggling to come to terms with his mother's loss, but are incredibly disturbed by the gruesome details that surround his mother's death. And I quote him saying, "I will never be able to fully articulate the loss of my mother, what she meant to me. She was my longest source of love, support, and encouragement. I have been incredibly hurt and disturbed by some of the reporting and information that has been shared regarding the investigation into my mother's death. Bearden has now asked for privacy and for attention on his mother's tragic death, so be focused on aiding the police investigation." He said he valued his mother's kindness, her empathy, and understanding throughout his entire life, and went through life recognizing the beauty and grace in everything she saw and experienced around her. The son recalled his mother loved enjoying and making art and dancing and singing along with her favorite music. He said she loved the holidays, consuming herself with hosting and enjoying her family being together around a home-cooked meal. Each year, she would shower her family with thoughtful gifts as gestures to remind you of her constant presence and awareness of your life and your value to her. More importantly, she always loved, cared, and respected her family. My mother was persistent in her love throughout my entire life, and I will persist until she is given the justice that she deserves. Now, after the daughter, Amanda, received the money through Venmo, she then attempted to call her mother. The mother didn't answer any of Amanda's calls, and that prompted her to report her mother as missing to the Athens Clarke County Police. Investigators found that the mother left the home that she shares with her husband in a rented SUV on September 10th. She had rented the vehicle because her car was in the shop. Her family did not know the license number. Now, Amanda said that her mom left her house with only her driver's license and a debit card, according to the missing persons report. And the police had to use Sirius XM satellite radio technology to track that rented car while investigating her whereabouts. And it located the car 60 miles away from Deborah's home and informed the sheriff's office. The Habersham County Sheriff's Office discovered the rental used K9 units to locate her body, and there were family members who were combing the scene after her body was found. Deborah's husband said he last saw his wife on September 9th, the night before her disappearance, at around 9 p.m. He was going to bed, but they sleep in separate rooms due to his snoring. So he would not have seen her during the night, he said. He told investigators that he saw her car the next morning after he went off to work. The family told police it would be very unusual for Deborah to do anything like this, but neighbors have claimed that a commotion occurred at her home the night before she vanished. A woman said that there was loud screaming and fighting. Police say they have performed several search warrants at locations that are directly tied to Deborah, and they conducted preliminary interviews with those people closest to her. There's no evidence to support that this was related to a kidnapping or that her death was self-harm. What's up, Rocky? Hear Rocky? Do you hear Rocky? What's up, Rocky? Okay, let's go over here and say here. So here's another picture of the daughter. But it's very different than a mugshot we saw, right? That text message that also said, "They're not going to let me go," referenced a key that was underneath the flower pot to the house. And then we had those pictures that were revealed of the mother with bruises on her eye, and that was years before her death, saying that, our Zoom ended. Don't worry about it. You can still hear me, right? And I'll open up a new Zoom when I come back. But right now, let's see what we have. But I see something else. When is this from? So we have another... So here we're talking about... YouTubers. There's a YouTuber. Let's see. Oh, isn't this interesting? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have a band who is YouTuber Ice Poseidon. Well, let's see who this person is, and let's see why he was banned. Okay. The controversial YouTuber Ice Poseidon rose to fame on Twitch, but was ultimately banned a few years later. Now fans want to know more about him and why he was banned from the streaming site for good. Paul Danino is a popular internet personality and live streamer who goes by the name Ice Poseidon. He first joined YouTube in 2013 and later became a household name after his IRL streams went viral on Twitch. He boasts a following of over 729,000 subscribers on YouTube and has 87 million views on his videos. When he's not streaming, he can be found posting about his life on Instagram to over 48,000 followers. He was born on September 29th in 1994 in Palm Beach, Florida. His Twitch presence became so popular, and fans were shocked back in 2017 when he was permanently banned from the site. Now it says this channel is currently unavailable due to a violation of Twitch's community guidelines or terms of service when you try to view his Twitch account. The reason he was banned stems from a 2017 swatting incident, which ended with the streamer getting pulled off a plane by police after it made an unexpected landing in Phoenix. While he was waiting for the plane, Danino revealed his gate number, and a troll quickly called authorities to falsely claim that he was carrying a bomb. Getting pulled off the plane in front of 200 people, these people think I'm an effing terrorist or something now. At the time, it made national headlines, which is what led to the ban. However, shortly after, he switched his streaming over to YouTube to continue his career. So now, what happened about this that incident, right? Who did that? And hold on, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so he's accused of scamming fans of $300,000 in a crypto scheme. He's known as being one of the most controversial internet personalities. He's been permanently banned from the Purple streaming platform, continues to stream and develop content on YouTube. He recently came under attack from a YouTube investigator known as CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla revealed that Ice Poseidon promoted a crypto scheme known as CX Coin to his viewers and made off with their profits. As exposed by YouTuber investigator CoffeeZilla, Ice Poseidon confirmed and clarified that he had taken $500,000 from his fans through the means of the crypto project. A video that was uploaded by CoffeeZilla showcased how Ice Poseidon developed a campaign around promoting his crypto coin, CX Coin. The YouTuber directly confronted Paul and asked him about his shenanigans, to which Paul gave answers that were pretty straightforward. Paul was asked by CoffeeZilla if he will return the investors' money since it was in his power. Paul answered by saying, and I quote, "I mean, I'm not really sure what you want me to say, but yeah, I could give the money back. It is within my power, but I'm going to look out for myself and not do that. You know, I don't know, like, what else to say. That's just the most honest answer." When CoffeeZilla asked him about what he intended to do with the money, he said he would invest it back into the crypto. Let's see here what happened here. He went on to mention that he made $300,000 and it was not through the means of scamming and cheating people. He started his live streaming, hold on a minute, in 2015, gained mainstream popularity and peaked in 2017. He was permanently banned from Twitch in 2017. And then that had to do with that SWAT when he was boarding that plane. Then he went to YouTube. And now there's this other scam. So why this is going on, you know, why this is, well, I just saw it in my headlines. I'm trying to figure out what's, I don't know, I guess it's something that's trending. So we covered it. And we'll find out more about what's happening there. Okay, let's look at something else while we're here. Okay, here's something that maybe we want to look. Let's go back to Alex Belfield. And we are in a new age of stalking. This Alex Belfield case is a warning that no one should ignore. Social media is not real life. That's what people want you to hear, right? On every platform is not real life. Whatever we do here doesn't really matter. Well, no. That's all changing. It is real life. Everyone recognizes it's real life except the people that are doing the stalking and harassing. They want people to think it's not real life, right? And hang on. Let's see. So he was a fountain of hate. Oh my gosh, there's this fly in here. That the flies are dying. And because they're all disgusted by social media's response, they're going to keep on. And more people are joining every day who have had interactions where they've been harassed and stalked by this guy, but it's going to be from victims all over. So let's talk about what Jeremy Vine said. So asked about a response of the social media companies, Jeremy Vine said, "I'm amazed at how hard it is to get them to realize. So we went to YouTube and said, come on, what is going on with this guy? You can't allow him to just defame. And then we said, okay, there's a libel action now based on that video. They still won't take it down. Eventually I had to go through a lawyer and they take down individual videos. And then when he is convicted, they demonetized him. But half of the videos about me are still up there." His technique was to say, copy and share. So someone will have to take his video in Moscow. So someone takes his video in Moscow and hosts it. It will always be out there. I have to live with that. But the fact that YouTube hosts this stuff and that they have no responsibility, they don't care, they don't give any toss is what his verbiage is here. But I'm disgusted by their lack of values. And Twitter as well. He's in prison. He still has a Twitter account. What is up with that? Right? He wants to know. I don't understand that. The victims flagged Bellfield's content in a way that was both continuous and constant, and one person even went to YouTube's headquarters to ask its reception if anything could be done. It's not a mystery to them which are the problem accounts, and they need to just take them down. Neither of these sites commented to them, and let's see here. So that's their next course, is to bring awareness to the social media and about the platforms, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, whatever. They have to be accountable for this. So this is great, but in the interim, they're being convicted, and that's great, and being sent to prison. Wonderful. Okay, now, hold on. The Netflix viewers, we were watching the Dahmer documentary on Netflix, and I have to say that his story has always been pretty nauseating to me. I have to open up the Zoom. Hold on just 1 second. Okay. His story has always been pretty nauseating to me, but in older, this one was like disgusting. So I know some people were okay with it. Some people had to get off. But this, the Jeffrey Dahmer story on Netflix, it's saying that I'm tapping out at episode 2. It's too sick and twisted, and I can't make it through this crap. It scared me to walk outside, adding that another person said it was so nauseating. Like, what in the actual F was wrong with this fool? Seriously, not advisable to binge. One of the most disturbing true crime series I've watched, wrote a user on Twitter. The Jeffrey Dahmer story is disturbing, and I think it makes sense that normal, decent people are having a strongly negative reaction to the Netflix show. Take care of yourself. True crime genre producers do not have your best interest at heart, wrote another user. Some praised Peters' performance, with one writing that Evan Peters as Jeffrey Dahmer is so effing insane, to the point that the whole series is actually making me uncomfortable and terrified. This new Jeffrey Dahmer show on Netflix is not sitting right with my spirit. I am stressed and scared. Another one said, wide awake and can't sleep, scared AF. So, yeah, kind of yucky. Viewers anticipated that they'd find it a difficult watch, right? But Dahmer in the Netflix is depicted bringing men back to his flat, while his neighbor, who's Niecy Nash, which is just strange because she ended up like on like a TLC, what was it, Clean House or something, and then she became I don't know, it's kind of weird, like, right? Complains about the smell and the sound of screaming from his home. And the trailer prompted reactions of shock from viewers who said that Peters looked perfectly like the serial killer. He looks a little bit too much like him, what said one commenter. And this is the real life Jeffrey Dahmer. One person on Twitter said, "Welp, this trailer officially has caused me nightmares moving forward." Another one said, give him the Emmy already. This is right in his wheelhouse. He played similar roles in American Horror Story, great actor. Jeffrey Dahmer was known in the media as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster. He was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Excuse me. Schizotypal personality disorder and a personality disorder. He was found to be legally sane at his trial, where he was sentenced to life in prison, and then he was beaten to death by fellow inmate in 1994. However, maybe you're interested in that. But let me see here. What is this? Where was that? Oh. Okay, so I think I'm going to put the number for the new Zoo review, into new Zoo review. It's coming straight for you. And hold on a minute. Okay. Yeah, see review. All right, there we go. So we'll see what comes up, and I'll go back to the chat. It's a little bit. We should do the prices right. How are we going to do the prices right? Oh, cat's got your tongue. How will we do the prices right? Hello, cats. Hello,
Hey
Newman.
there.
Hello, Newman.
I don't know if you got my message earlier.
No, I just saw that it was there, but I didn't have time to read it. I scanned
It's
it.
a-
I saw something about Tammy Daybell's grave.
Oh, that was just in regards to that documentary that we watched.
Right, with the ducks, yeah.
Laurie Bailey. Yeah.
Well,
I thought it was kind of symbolic.
yeah, right, yeah. It certainly was.
I think Nate Eden was actually videotaping like something at the time when the ducks flew over, and it was at the Daybell's house. So it's like, if that wasn't a sign, I don't know what was.
Did you watch the Dahmer documentary?
Yes, I did.
Were you skeeved by it? Grossed out by it?
There were like a couple of bits that kind of made me vomit.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But overall, like, it's really well done. It's really well put together. I like the way they sort of, I don't know, it's just like, it's easy to watch in like a movie form,
Right.
but it's not easy to watch because of the contents, like the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just never been able, really, like all the documentaries and everything on the case has just been really hard. What, Nicole?
Okay, we would do prices right. We could easily do that.
How?
We
What
wouldn't
happened?
physically come on stage, right? We wouldn't. We could still have an item, and whoever's closest to it, like we would have.
Oh,
like
you mean just hold up an item like
Yeah, we know, but we could
This?
make it go. We have enough people, and then whoever's like, yeah,
just like that, and then we just
Yeah.
look it up and pick up a price. We'd have to say like one store in particular, but then it's going to change for us all over the country.
yeah, it's different that way. So we can't really just. I take it back.
Okay,
Okay.
I did that all for nothing. Thanks.
Well, you were going to thank your seltzer. You did what? Up your seltzer for nothing?
I know. I'm
You're
so embarrassed.
You're good at it anyway.
Okay. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Liza. Hi, Margot.
Hello.
I wonder, did anyone go ahead and finish watching the Dahmer thing?
$1.99.
Is that what-
$1.99.
I don't know. I didn't even buy it, so I
How
don't even
much
know.
is that? Do you think it's probably like $1.99, right?
Probably.
That's what I say. Yeah, I know that's. I feel it.
It's 5
$1.90.
Fast Break Reese's bars.
Oh, I'm hungry. I want.
5 Fast.
Oh,
Probably.
I'm looking. Does anybody have any
Oh,
chocolate?
it looks good.
I would like a piece, please.
What about these?
Yeah, why are you just showing those out and not giving them out?
Mm.
Oh, that's not fair. I want to go to Cumbies and get stuff. That's not
In
fair.
Australia, that'd be like $10.
Really?
Yeah, because we don't get a lot of Reese's stuff here.
Oh, okay. Because your prices in that Woolworths you took us in they were pretty
Pretty
good.
good, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Rough and Ready.
Ruff, hi, Ruff.
Now maybe one day here I have a game, like if somebody said, okay, come on panel and get like the strangest thing in your house, and then the
Oh, that
chat
would be
could
so
vote in a
hot.
poll whose was the strangest thing.
Mine. Oh my God, I have so many strange things. Yes.
Or we'd have to try and guess what it is.
That's the best idea ever. That is the best idea. That is the best idea ever. I'm writing it down so I can remember it.
Or and another
One.
game could be
Where-
the chat could tell the people on panel, almost like let's make a deal, but you could only play within the room that you're in. And they would
Yeah.
say like, do you have an ice pick? It would be like
Yes, remember that
scabbing,
what's that
and
game show?
then everybody that didn't have the item, you'd be out
Yeah.
until the last man standing.
That's like that game show. Like, remember he went into the audience? and
Yeah,
he was
let's
like,
make a
"Do you
deal."
have a pen in
Yep.
your purse?
And I always try to pack my purse like
$500.
I'm on an episode of
I
that.
don't have, but we have everything in our houses though.
Mm-hmm.
But you would have to pick something really weird.
Right, but you'd have
Like,
to
do you
have
a
limit it to the room you're in or something.
Carolyn, move yourself over on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
I think your screen is off centered or something.
I'll go check, but let me move myself over and see. But I think, let me see if it's moving over. It might be, let me see.
Just like your screen.
I know, I'm
Move over.
fixing it now. I think I fixed it now.
Okay.
hi Pipple, it's nice to see you.
Hi, Pipple Sleuth.
Oh, I thought you said pickles.
If there was,
Pickles.
I'm gonna look to see if I have any.
But yeah, that would be fun. That would be a fun game.
Robbie Bob said she finished watching the Dahmer documentary.
Really? And you like Bobbity, and you were okay with that?
There you go. Screen looks much better.
Okay.
Does it go through the bit where they go to court?
Oh, where they take him to court? You
Yeah.
mean his trial? Does it go through his trial,
You
Robbity
see
Bob?
that?
Robbity Bob.
I
Hold on a
still
minute.
haven't finished the
I just have to
Dahmer.
go. Rocky is like.
I didn't finish it
I want to
either.
get Rocky. He's calling me. What's that, Rock? What do you want?
Liza, thank you for your very, very sweet message that you
Oh
sent
no,
me.
thank you. Thanks for coming past. It's great.
Oh, you're welcome. I kept getting knocked out or something. I went back 2 or 3 times and I just gave up.
Oh yeah, everyone was having trouble that night.
Oh,
People were
okay.
having trouble with it. Yeah.
Okay. So
Might
it
have been
wasn't for
Aaron.
me. Okay.
Yeah, but you're always welcome.
Thank you.
No worries.
Robbie Bob said, I'm a sicko. I've always been a serial killer fan. That's, okay, if you look at the true crime, like
I am too though. Aren't we all?
it's mainly women, like so like 95%, maybe 90% women
Yep.
are like true crime fans. Do you think that's because women hate not knowing? Like we have to figure stuff out?
Probably.
I don't know.
Let's say that anyway.
Well, I find it kind of empowering, sort of learning what to look for, like signs, I guess, and I think that's why the like Shanann's one was so popular, because that could have been anyone's family, and I think that really rattled like people around the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, how could you see that coming? And it's kind of like, and then people put themselves in that place and start looking at the husbands a bit differently. Like,
All right.
so if you fell as a bit of an a-hole, embrace that. At least it's not faking being like perfect.
Right. There's a lot of fakes in the world. People are really good at hiding who they are. Very, very good at it because they've done it for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. A very, very long time, and it's almost a part of them. You know, it has become them. You know, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it does show the trial?
But the problem is they refuse to see that or to get help.
That side of themselves. And then
Hi, Jeanette.
they don't accept it, so.
They don't see themselves as having any kind of a problem.
Why doesn't? Who's the host? Somebody keeps saying they're the host and they're spotlighting my video.
I'm not even. I mean,
I'm not
You're
even.
ours.
That is so weird.
I just spotlighted you.
You
It's
did?
not. Why are you doing that?
Oh, okay. You're spotlighting me.
Oh, because you were talking.
Oh,
Oh, does that happen on YouTube as well?
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I thought I was losing my mind.
well, I'm eating another cookie. That's what I'm doing.
Sorry, I like pressing
I was
buttons.
like, how am I? Okay. All right. So let me.
Jeez.
Sorry.
That's
My
all
bad.
right. I know. I thought that I was like, how I'm pushing something.
Candy cookie.
But
need to live
I want to ask you,
vicariously.
Robbity Bob, does it follow him to where they to where he's murdered in prison too? Oh, Sharon's here. Hi, Sharon.
Sharon, hi.
Hey, Sharon.
How's your
Hi, guys.
decoupage coming?
I just washed my brushes,
And
so
that
it's coming okay. I haven't. I'm trying a new method.
what's
Oh,
the
what
new,
is it? Is it a surprise?
what kind of new method?
Well, I'm experimenting. I put the white on the shelf,
Yeah.
and I put the clear coat on without putting anything on it yet. And then I'm going to put another layer of clear coat when I put the napkin on,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll peel it and see what happens. What do you think?
I think that's good.
It feels way smoother,
That's good.
and that's what I'm after, is a smooth surface.
I don't have a smooth surface. I can never get one.
Oh, they
Mine
do,
all-
Tracy? You watched it
I'm
too?
saying smoother. It's not smooth. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
You did?
okay.
Oh, look at Robbie Bob said he felt sad for him.
Yeah, I did too. He's the only person that I've
Really?
ever kind of had because okay, so this was a while ago that I went down that rabbit hole, but I watched like all the interviews and everything, and I really felt like for him and his dad, because it was kind of like he didn't kind of understand himself, and I don't know, I really think he was born that way. And his dad mentioned one time too, and felt kind of guilty because he had the same kind of urges and dreams or something. There's an interview where he mentioned that, and he goes, but he never acted on it. And Jeffrey Dahmer said, had he have not acted on like the impulse with the hitchhiker, like
With what?
it probably sort of
What?
wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But he was explaining sort of how something went from like a thought and a fantasy to actually sort of following through.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Jeanette says the Eileen Wernos case is interesting as well. I agree.
Yeah, I've seen that. But why do you feel sorry for him? Because that you think that
Well, I don't really feel sorry for him. Like, he murdered people, and it was terrible and horrific and all of that. But just his situation, and he wasn't like the normal serial killer who had to do it to be in control and in power and all that sort of thing. It was more that he was like lonely, and that's why he ate the people, because he wanted them to be part of him, and he tried to lobotomize them with, the acid in the skull and make them a zombie so he could keep them so they didn't leave. It was more like, I don't know, really sad. So the reasons, I guess. But it is interesting because this is yet another serial killer who has mummy issues. Like,
Yeah.
I've noticed that link. There's a lot of,
I think he wasn't just mommy issues. I think he had dad issues and everything. I just think he felt alone completely. Because he went through all that with his mom. He saw his mom and his dad arguing, and saw his mom, his dad upset. Because remember, several times he asked his dad not to leave, and it's like his dad showed him, the only interest his dad showed in him was roadkill and how to dissect and this, that, and the other. But other than that, his dad didn't even spend time with him.
well, that's because the dad did that with him, because that was the only thing that he kind of showed an interest in doing. So he was being a good parent in that sense.
I don't know. I don't know.
No,
Mm-mm.
no.
He did.
I mean, he didn't play ball with him. He didn't show him trying to do anything.
No, but that's
other than-
because
No.
Jeffrey wasn't interested in doing all of those things. Because the father did try, but he just wasn't interested. So when he finally found something that interests Jeffrey, then he kind of took that on and did it.
But there's how do you get from there to eating people? I mean, just to say it bluntly, how do you get from
How do you get from this
Well,
guy had a bad
It's not just
childhood
about,
to,
because a lot of people have a bad
I
childhood
feel
and they don't
sorry
turn
for
out
the
like that.
guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's a
saying.
strange emotion.
It was sexual gratification.
You feel sorry for Chris Watts too?
No.
No,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's a strange thing to say.
All right, well, certain people, let's see. Did you ever watch the Unabomber documentary?
Yes.
That guy, I felt sorry for that guy. I
That
felt
guy's
that
a little different.
I don't know about the Unabomber. Can you tell me just real quick, like
he
1
lived in
minute?
a cabin. I have to go through and watch it again, but I
No,
know
you don't
it was
have
a
to do
long
that.
time
He lived
ago.
in a cabin, just real quick. Lived in a
Yeah,
cabin. He had
yeah,
two
yeah,
kids,
and
all
he
fucked
and he
out.
was like helping people out of the
Like a smart.
library, and he was a nice guy, like to this kid and stuff. And he was helping him, and he was very smart, and he just lived off the grid, and he felt like people were going to come after, but he seemed like a nice guy, but he had I forget like what happened in his child. I can't even remember the thing. I know his brother and his sister-in-law, they ended up turning him in, and yes, he did horrible things, and people were, gravely injured with his packages, and that is horrible. But certain ways that he got there was something about a bicycle, and it was stolen, wasn't it? That things in his childhood that, and it's just, I felt sorry that he went through that, and it seemed like he could have been a nice guy living off the grid and still helping people in the library and stuff. And then he went just berserko with sending those packages out. I don't know. I'd have to watch it again and tell you the specific things, but I do remember that there were specific things in there that I felt, he wasn't, just things were missed. And about the kid in Parkland, I
Very
still
good.
think that kid, that should never have happened.
Absolutely.
There was so much that was missed.
There were so many flags flying, you couldn't see anything else. but the flag.
So much loss, the parenting,
Right.
living with the neighbors, like what is going on? The fetal alcohol syndrome, all of that.
And we wait till something happens, and years later we have,
and
you know,
those
a
are
bunch
two
of people
cases
talking about them,
just that
and
make me, I don't know, matter feeling sorry for them as it is, thinking that things could have been a lot different.
Yeah.
it's always after the fact. You know what I mean? You go back. It's never during. There's never help during.
I have to watch
There's
the
nothing
Unabomber thing
wrong.
again because it's been years, and I would remember. But I remember something, an incident, a really sad incident with a bike. That, like, I think he had a bike when he was a kid, and he loved it, and he was doing all this stuff, and then somebody rode off with it. And does anybody remember what it was with the bike? Did anybody see that documentary?
I didn't see the doc.
I've seen it, but it's been a long time ago. I've forgotten.
There was something that happened with his. I remember I felt so bad for the kid, and I think like the mother was like, "Well, it's tough luck. You're not getting him." And he got so resentful after that, and just got so mad. I think that was. I would like to go see it again, so then I will remember why I felt the way I did.
I know, like, I remember his IQ was like super high, like it was like 100 and
Yeah, and he was like, when he was helping that kid at the library, and he was befriending like that single mom there.
yeah, it was really high.
Yeah, I don't know. It
The
just,
kid
there's
didn't have a
something-
dad, and he was befriending him, and
There's something missing, I think, in the wiring. I really do, and it's unfortunate, and it happens, yes, but I don't feel bad for him. I just can't. I mean, what Deborah said, if it was your loved one, you couldn't. I mean, I think if it was my loved one, you know what I mean? That's how
Oh,
I.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not thinking
That's what
that.
I
I'm not thinking that's not horrific and all of that. But I'm saying
No, I don't know
there's
anything about the
something that
uniform.
was missed, and should teach us that that shouldn't have happened.
Mm.
That's what I
I was
mean about
talking-
kids being like. Well, sometimes they're not even. They're injured in the womb with the fetal alcohol syndrome, right?
Mhm.
But they didn't
Yeah.
ask for any of that. They're at the liberty of the parent. The parent doesn't do the right thing.
Uh-huh.
Takes
Absolutely.
drugs, drinks alcohol, the child is damaged. Sometimes the children aren't damaged when they're brought here, but then they're damaged after. And that's what I mean. They just take, when you hear some of these stories, right? Like that little girl that father cut his leg off in front of her.
Well,
Think
about
of
that
what
today.
she is going to be dealing with, or these kids, because their parents leave a gun out, they shoot their sibling, kill them. Right? I mean, it's just like they're saddled with something for the rest of their life that will always affect them. And it's because they didn't even understand at 3 years old what that even was. And if they kill their mother, I mean, all these stories, every time I see these kids that either have lost both parents through a horrific event, or they've done something like shoot their mother on a Zoom call when they're 2 years old because they didn't even know what they had was a gun.
Yeah, and then they have to live
How
with it.
do they live?
you know.
They live with that for the rest of their life, or they killed a sibling, or they killed, I mean, it's all of that stuff. And sometimes we don't think about the lasting implications, but I do. When I hear that, I'm just like, well, there's another, and then this is our future, and these kids have to work through this stuff and process it. And can you even imagine?
I know.
Where's your mother? Oh, well, when I was 2 years old, nobody was supervising me correctly, and they left a gun unlocked, and I grabbed it, and I killed her during a Zoom meeting.
Crazy. I remember that case. You read that. You went over that. in here.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you reckon if like Jeffrey Dahmer had sort of like, I don't know, like a good circle of friends, like socialized a bit more, and like, do you reckon things would
I
have
was
turned
under
out
the
differently?
impression, though, real quick, Kath, I was under the impression that he did try to make I do remember seeing some kind of documentary. So he was at one point in high school trying to make or had friends.
But he didn't really have like, like sort of like a best friend. They has sleepovers and.
Dad had that book.
It just seemed like he was always alone.
Oh, did he,
and
Jeanette?
the odd
Yeah,
one out.
I haven't studied him a lot, John, just because there's just been something that, I don't know, it's just been really hard for me to get into documentaries about him.
It's a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot going on there with Dahmer,
Yeah, and I just don't know enough to.
Speak on
I
it.
just pulled.
I just think like if we can figure out what went wrong, sort of with him.
I just pulled up from Newsweek, and it's in the culture section of Newsweek magazine. It was published this month,
Right.
Mhm.
and it went back to his father and the statements his father had made about trying to come to some kind of conclusion as to what could have caused all this.
Right.
Mhm.
And he's made his statements about him being shy, yada yada.
His mum.
And it's this is his words.
Yeah.
The closest I could come to why to give some type of a casualty for all this is I think it is a cumulative thing. I think there are several events in his life, starting with the hernia operation, his concern about having his private parts cut off,
What?
which he expressed to his mother at the time. I didn't even know about that until the trial in February of '92.
Hmm.
That plus a blow to the back of his head. There are other various incidences and going around and getting roadkill.
Okay, I missed a hernia surgery, and then when was that?
Oh.
What age was that?
A blow to the head, and then the roadkill.
No,
You-
he had a concern. This is his son.
Right.
They said that he started several events in his life when he started noticing the withdrawal and just being
Right.
quiet, shy. Started with a hernia operation.
Do you know his age at the hernia operation?
I think he said in the movie, if it's correct, he was around 5 or 6.
And he thought they cut off his private parts?
Not the father, the son.
Right.
was
No, I know.
concerned.
I understand.
Yes.
It's Jeffrey saying this. Did he?
Yes.
He thought they cut his
He
private
said-
parts off?
They didn't, but he was concerned about having his private, well, it says penis,
Oh,
being cut off, which he expressed it to his mother, but his father didn't know anything about that until the trial in
Okay.
92.
all right.
But I don't know though. If that
I
would be
mean,
correlation. It's kind of like a reach in there a little, because
Yeah.
that happened when he was 5. I don't think. he
yeah,
was
and
really-
it seems like even if a kid was like, "Oh, are they going to cut that off?" Like,
Right.
how is that
And they
going to?
said, no,
Yeah, who put that in his head?
I don't know.
don't
Somebody
know.
probably told him, if you don't behave, this is what's going to happen.
okay.
I'll
that's-
headshot.
Sharon.
I don't know.
No.
Then he
Shot.
goes on to say, plus a blow to the back of the head.
Mhm.
And, there were some other various incidences
What's your
and going around and getting roadkill. I believe that had a big play in it.
Yeah. Was he just collecting the roadkill? Was he eating the?
Like,
I don't know.
He
It
was
was
showing his son how to dissect it. They were getting the roadkill together
the
Right.
really. I didn't know
and taking it back to that little shop shed his dad had.
that. I remember that from the shop.
I didn't
They
even
were
see this part because I must have
Showing
just
him
fallen asleep.
was showing
during
him how to dissect it, how to cut it open, and the
Why?
internal parts.
But you know
and
what?
this, that.
You know what? Hey, listen. I don't buy that either, because up here, a lot of kids hunt, and I've gone away on like when my daughter was chaperoned a trip over to Frost Valley. One of the kids who graduated, like, family comes from doctors, everything. They hunt, and I remember it was they were in 5th grade, and the father said to me, "Tell her what's the first thing you do after you shoot the deer." And this kid described every action, and he didn't grow up to be a serial killer. And there's
Right.
plenty of people that butcher their own deer, and they do all of this stuff, and they do taxidermy on animals, and they don't grow up to be serial killers. So
Exactly. But if you go back to him feeling completely alone, unheard, couldn't express his own emotions, what he thought, how he felt, even to his family, what else did he have control over?
I mean,
It became mental and psychological because he couldn't express himself. Anytime he tried to, he got clapped back, and he would just give in and say, okay. You know what I'm saying? So it played on him mentally and psychologically, to where his dad teaching him that, he grew up learning, okay, this is something I've got control over. He didn't have control over nothing else in his life. So then that resorted to where it became a bigger thing and became from roadkill to humans.
I don't know how you get from road, but where do you get
Pudding,
from road?
I said my opinion on that. I think the system failed that
I do,
boy.
I do.
No, she's asking me about Nicholas Cruz. I think the system failed him in every way.
Yeah.
Okay, every single way, and
Yes.
it never would have happened had they stepped in. So he's adopted out to a family. He already has fetal alcohol syndrome. Then his adopted parents, they die. He's then given off to the neighbors. I mean, everything failed.
He
that.
showed signs of being in the absolute crisis, and no one intervened.
Yeah. So,
I mean, you just think, well, what if someone had, stepped in?
Right.
All this would have been avoided. He would have never gotten there.
right.
I mean, I guess, you don't know what happens in someone's head, but
You
I
don't,
mean,
but just think about like being, having fetal alcohol syndrome and then having that intense grief. You've lost the only, you're
Yeah.
given to what you're dealing. Look at how people deal with adoption and can feel it doesn't matter even into the greatest homes they've been adopted into. They feel, why didn't my parents,
well, my little sister was adopted,
Right.
and she was adopted when I was 16. So my older sister is a year and a half older than I was. So she had only child experience, and with some older parents who had a lot more means, and they gave her everything, and they showered her with love and affection, but to the point where my older sister was jealous. She's like, I wish I had that childhood. But I mean, yeah, she got everything. I mean, everything, and including lots of love and support and affirmation, right?
Right.
But nothing could keep her from questioning why.
Right,
Why
because
did-
it's like, yeah. So,
we even told her because it was a open adoption, a prearranged adoption,
Mhm.
and we told her why, but her mother, just couldn't take care of another child, and she was unmarried. She'd already had one child, and she was struggling to take care of him. She'd had another child, and she'd given her adoption through the state, and then when she became pregnant again, she was like, I don't want to go through that route again because I want to know where my baby is, and her brother worked with my father, and she had asked him for help to find a family, and that's how that happened. But it doesn't matter like how much you love them and affirm them and give them and shower them, they're always, and it's really sad because she actually found her birth mother about a year and a half ago.
mhm.
And she found her half sister at the same time, and she happened to talk to the half sister first, and the half sister told her, don't bother because I've already contacted her and she doesn't want to have anything to do with us. Which was like a surprise to us all because when she had been adopted, she had done that so that she could contact her later on, and be part of her life. And she's changed her mind for some reason.
Right.
I don't know, maybe she's like a little ashamed of like the way she was living when she was younger or something and wants to divorce herself from it. I'm not sure. But it was really difficult for her, very difficult for her. And there's no way she can't feel rejected.
Right, exactly. And
We got a picture of her mother that her sister provided her with, like from a family reunion. And I can only imagine it's doubly hard because she is the spitting image of her. I mean, can you imagine like
Right.
all of a sudden you find this person and you look exactly like them and they don't even want to speak to you,
Yeah.
So like, but even if you don't find them, it's just that even if people tell you all the circumstances, your mother loved you and she did everything she could to put you in the best standing possible. She found a good family and a good home and made sure that you were going to have everything that she can give you. It still didn't make her feel,
no, there's a lot of studies about that with
Yeah.
adoption. Yeah, but like saying too, he loses his only mother, and it, at such a time in his life when teenagers, right at that time, are like, was he going to grief counseling? Was he seeing anybody? He had, fetal alcohol syndrome to begin with,
right.
and it just seems like he was just passed along. Nobody, and that's a lot to deal with. And
Yeah, it
if you
is.
have psychological issues, if you have schizophrenia, if you're hearing voices and no one's doing anything for you, then who's really, there's more people with culpability than,
Yes.
and
made you
it
so
didn't have to
sad?
happen. And it should be a lesson to people that we just, we're just failing so miserably taking care of our kids in this country.
And didn't the police department say something about having been aware of him, previously to this occurrence, aware of him,
I was watching some old interviews with the people that he was staying with, and so I just to try to say, what the heck is going on? And they're like, oh, he was great. He was, he listened and he was polite and this and that, but he lost the only mother he knew. You know, his whole world upended. Nope, you know, his home. Just, I mean, that's traumatic. I don't know. I feel that he was just totally failed, and the consequences were horrific.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of people with blood on their hands.
Cautionary tale.
Oh,
And
yeah.
hopefully people are paying attention to this cautionary tale.
Yeah.
When there's another young person that they see is at this crisis point, hopefully people are going to step in and intervene.
Hi, Foxy and the Boxy.
But
Yeah.
I did want to comment about Dahmer. I mean, I saw that part in the movie where his father said, it was when he was still young and his parents were talking about him. You know, the mother said something, he blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I think it was the father said, well, he's never been the same since that hernia surgery. What do you want me to do about that? You know, they didn't say why, but it's indicating like something happened. Did he get like, you know, did he have some sort of a event during the surgery that could have left him brain damage or something? What are they alluding to there? He was never the same, you know, so after the surgery.
But that's on the account of the parents, right?
Yeah, but this was the parents talking in the movie, and I'm like, what? I mean, that makes you really curious. Like, what happened? What are they referring? You know,
But it is on the, I know, you know, but we can't just go by what the parents say. We would have to see, so, you know, if there was oxygen loss or so many variables of what could happen.
what? Yeah, they were. I mean, that's why I'm curious, because they reference it and say that he was never the same after that, but they don't give you any more.
They don't elaborate, right? Maybe. I mean, that is definitely a possibility.
And in the movie, during the time they're talking about, he's probably like maybe, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 or even younger in that
He
scene.
was 5 years old, I think.
Okay, so
He was 5 or 6, but still,
so
you
apparently,
gotta
like,
think back then they didn't probably tell them if he had a loss of oxygen,
right.
because
So
things were back then were so different than they are
Yeah.
now.
yeah,
They don't even tell you now, you know.
that's really
Right.
sad because, you know, it indicates they had one child that went into surgery and another child that came out, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, did he have siblings?
Yes,
Yeah,
he has one
brother.
brother,
Yep.
a younger brother.
And he's
But
okay?
in the movie, they
I
show
don't know. I've not heard anything about his brother.
they show him coming home from school in the movie, and the baby, his younger brother, is in a playpen screaming his head off, and
Yeah.
he's looking through the house and he finds his mother overdosed on the bed and had called 911.
Huh.
So I mean, there's another trauma. you
So
know.
his mother was
Yes.
overdosing. So did she take drugs when she was pregnant too?
Yes, she did. She took a lot of drugs. They show that in the movie too. That she was having, you know,
He was on a lot of different prescription medications, and that's
Emotional
while she was pregnant, and they had went to see another doctor. That was in the movie, her and her
Okay.
husband, and they were talking to a doctor about all these medications that she was on.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
concerned about
Yeah.
it. She wasn't concerned about it. Her husband was concerned about it. And they were
Well,
fighting
that
about
could have
it.
caused a lot of things too.
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
Carolyn, it was a lot of strong, like psychoactive medications. You know,
right, yes,
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that did something to the fetus. No doubt in my mind.
right.
There's no way you could take all those strong medications like that are supposed to, you know, for depression and anxiety, and you know how the medications were back then. They're not. I mean, they're not even nearly as safe as they are now. And she was on like, what did they say, like 10 different medications or something like that?
It was a lot. It was a lot.
All for her mood. All for her mood.
Yeah,
Removed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can only imagine all that crap was, and the entire pregnancy. Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
They say later that she had like postpartum depression, or but apparently she had like, you know, depression during the pregnancy too. She said she didn't like being pregnant. She said she felt guilty because, you know, some women enjoy pregnancy, but I can't be over, you know.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised they actually had another child after that. You know. Yeah, I do wonder about the brother. Yeah. Anyway, that really stuck out in my head, that one little part in the movie, because
Yeah.
that makes a big.
Yeah. Is the brother still alive, or does anybody know? Or I didn't even know yet.
No, I didn't look into it. I'm sure he doesn't want to be found if he is.
Oh, I know of course not. But I wonder.
I actually thought about Googling it, but I'm like, there's no way he has the same name or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll tell you somewhere if it's still. I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, probably because people are really this case, and I'm sure you change his name and move to like Alaska, but people will still know find out where he's at. Because that's just the way these things go.
Yeah, and Jeanette's comment says, I also wonder why Dahmer killed outside of his race. He said himself just random, not really black men. Okay, so they don't know. I don't know. I didn't watch the documentary.
Well, he killed inside and outside of his race. So, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, I just tried to get some information, and it said that he has stayed out of the eye and changed his name.
Oh,
wow.
really?
I would
Yeah.
certainly assume that would be the case. Yeah. I would assume that would be the case, wouldn't you? Jeffrey Dahmer.
You're not going to believe that we know these people. The guy's name is Jeff. Their last name sounds a lot like Dahmer, okay? But it's not Dahmer.
Okay.
But Jimmy cannot get through his head. And he constantly says, I was just talking to Jeffrey Dahmer, and he says that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not his last name. Oh, okay. But every single time. And he's not saying it to be funny. He really has a block, and he is like, just talk to Jeff Dahmer.
Is he close to that? Is the last name close
Very
to that?
close. Very close.
That's okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm like, no. But
It was Smith. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was close.
no,
obviously.
it's very, very close. It's an unfortunate incident, okay?
Like that close? All right.
Very close. Yeah.
Oh, he did. Jeanette said that Jeffrey Dahmer said in an interview that it was not random. That he killed mostly, I guess she said normal serial killers don't kill outside their race. And in Jeffrey Dahmer's case, she says there were a lot of black victims. And I don't know I mean,
that's weird because he's in a police interview and he seems to be, denying that he had.
Right.
But I guess maybe, that was strange because you think they would depict more what.
So what do you think that means, Tracy Claus? She says, ironically, Dahmer's mom's job was to tell people if they were infected with HIV. Did he have HIV?
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't remember that he had HIV.
No, I don't know.
I mean, he would have died from HIV. There weren't that many good treatments at the time. So
not then, because this was in the 60s. His brother was born in 1966, and he was 6 years younger than Jeffrey. And Jeffrey's the one that named his brother David.
That's weird because in the movie they depict him as a younger sibling.
He is younger. I'm looking at him up right now.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer's younger brother, David. He's 55 years old, born December 18th, 1960.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, what year?
1966.
He has two children of his own and a career, but they're not saying what.
In the movie, they depict the mother very close to David, but not close to Jeffrey. And they kind of make it like Jeffrey's doesn't attach to her much, but who knows what or why. But I think that child got a lot more mothering, even if the mother was, quite a mess.
Imagine growing up with that last name. I would change my name.
I would totally change my name.
I assume she
yeah.
did way back then. Yeah.
Marry your wife, take her name instead.
Right. Absolutely. A lot of people do that.
Sure.
Just change your
No
name
way
to
would I go
Hammer.
around with that name.
Deborah's in the house. Poor girl, her internet's been not very good.
What happened?
I said Deborah's here. I said her internet has not been
Oh,
very
really?
good.
I thought it was good now.
No, he never came. No.
Oh.
He'll tell you.
Hi.
Hi.
Deborah.
Deborah.
Hey.
Yeah, so if I disappear, you'll know why.
Okay.
He didn't show up, Carolyn. He was supposed
But
to.
I thought
show-
somebody said, oh, since that time, it's been really good.
It was, and then they were still gonna send him out because it was obviously intermittent problem. And they closed the case without telling me and canceled the appointment without telling me. And I
Wow.
waited here half a day and rang them when he didn't show up and found out they'd closed the case and not let me know. And today I've had at least a half a dozen dropouts. So,
Wow.
I bet you had a few choice words when you found that out.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just crazy what it's doing.
Jeanette wants to know, Deborah, if you could tell more about the backpack murders. I have no idea what she's talking about.
Oh.
She's talking about Ivan Milat.
Yeah. Oh.
And he would pick up backpackers and let them go. I think in several different areas, but mostly in the Belanglo State Forest and in Australia. And they found 7 bodies at the forest, but they believe that he has murdered, many more. They can't, he's deceased now. I believe he passed away. I can't remember the year, in his 70s from, I think, cancer. He was an avid hunter, and one of his intended victims was a backpacker from England, and he managed to escape. And a lady with her children in the car, I believe, let him jump in the car. He was running from Ivan Milat down the highway, and Ivan Milat was shooting at him, and this lady let him in the car. Anyway, he ended up going back to the UK because they didn't know who was doing this. Anyway, they ended up finding out, and then he came out from the UK and testified, and it's a very interesting but horrendous thing. And I've driven by the Belanglo State Forest. It's such a creepy kind of looking forest. It's got the creepy kind of trees. And who I was with was driving, and I just said, he said, well, do you want to stop by that Belanglo? There's the sign right there. And I looked at the forest. I said, drive faster. I don't even want to look at it. It's so creepy there. But
you got a bad feel?
So that's what Jeanette's talking about, is the serial killer, Ivan Milat.
Oh, yeah. It's extremely horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he liked to hunt humans. So he would get them and then hunt them down as if they were like game, like he was hunting for game.
Wow.
So,
my goodness.
very, very creepy. Very creepy.
He wasn't there was a guy in Alaska that did that.
Yes, there was a guy in Alaska that did that too, yeah.
The guy that did that? The guy in
But
Alaska?
with backpackers, it was, young women who were.
Yeah, and he took them on their airplane, remember?
Yeah.
He took them on their airplane, and then he hunted.
Yes. Yep.
That's just wrong with people. Like there's definitely something missing, or there's something missing. A lot of something.
Mm-hmm.
But no help though along the way. It goes back to that. What you're saying, where's the help? I mean, you don't go from, doing the roadkill thing for taxidermy or whatever, which is, a normal thing kids do maybe with their parents when they hunt. They don't, like she said, they don't end up to be serial killer.
Right. But there was something wrong with him. I mean,
Yeah, and the problem was
that's the difference.
And there wasn't anyone to help. That's also the huge factor.
Right.
No.
I mean, just think back then, that was in the late 60s, 70s, and we don't have a whole lot of help now. I mean, can you imagine how scarce it was back then?
It sure was.
What really bothered me, and maybe with the help aspect, was when his father comes to the house with his new girlfriend, expecting to his wife and other children to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Other child to be there, and just finds Jeffrey, who's been abandoned there for 4 months, by himself, with no contact with a parent, and he just thrown himself into oblivion and done all that stuff. The hitchhikers and argued with her, and he takes him out to lunch, and Jeffrey starts trying to tell his father, "Dad, there's something very badly wrong with me.
Yes.
I have things, unspeakable things I don't even know if I can tell you about, but there's something wrong with me, Dad. There's something wrong with me." And his dad completely shuts him down.
Yeah, just blew it off.
And says, "Well, I know what we're going to do. We're going to get you into the university or whatever, because he was
That's what I'm saying.
For life,
his whole life he was shut down. He was never able to express himself or anything. It was always about he wanted to keep peace and keep them happy with what they wanted to hear.
This was after he had done this with the hitchhiker.
Right. Yeah.
When he left in the house alone and everything like that. And
wait, when he done what with it? Which with the hitchhiker? Can you just
he picked up a hitchhiker.
Okay.
And took him back to the house. It was a guy who wanted to go to a concert.
Oh my God!
Beer and stuff. So they went back to his house. They smoked a little pot. They drank a little beer. They lifted some weights, hung out, and the guy said, "It's time to go," and everything like that, right? And Jeffrey didn't want him to leave. Tried to get him to stay for a little longer. And Jeffrey made a move on him. Jeffrey tried to kiss him, and the guy "Get off me, weirdo," and all this stuff. And take me right now and all this stuff. And Jeffrey gets upset when he calls him a name and yells at him, and he hits him with a weight, and sort of quote unquote accidentally kills him. He flies into a rage and hits him with it, but in the movie it depicts him as not having intended to kill him, and gets really, really upset when he realizes that he's dead.
But in the movie, his father helped. Like his father knows what happened and he covers it up, though.
No, it doesn't. No, not. So this is when he's alone at the house. His father has gone off with the girlfriend, and the mother and his, is there with him. But the mother takes splits, right?
Yeah, they had got their divorce, and it was a custody battle. So when she won custody, she went right then and packed her and the younger son's stuff up, and he come home from school. And they were leaving and left him there.
Yeah, I know that.
Right.
But what did
That's
he?
right.
But what happened? The parent came home.
So this was while the period when he was living by himself. His dad didn't know he was living by himself at that point.
But he had never bothered to call.
18, I think.
He was 18.
He was 18.
Yeah, he just graduated.
I think
In fact, he hadn't even graduated yet when his mother left him there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So what did he? I'm not sure. Like I said, thank you for telling me, because I'm not really sure about Dahmer at all. So what happened with the body? Did he dispose of it? He
disposed of the body. Yes, he did. He moved the body under the house. He got the body out from under the house. when he freaked out because there was like a lot of sirens that night, you know, so he's like, oh, they know what I've done, you know, somebody knows what I've done, they're coming to get me. Freaked out at me, got the body out, and trying to find a way to dispose of it, get rid of it. And he dismembers him. And then he burns the body. And then he tries to smash the bones into powder. You know, he tries to like really.
But they were too wet.
Yeah.
Remember that? They were too wet, and he put them in the oven to dry them out.
And then smashed them into powder as much as he could. And then he spreads them all over the property. Yes, that was the first thing he did, the first thing. And then, so this is, you know, when his father comes home, discovers like the house is a mess and there's just beer cans everywhere. And, you know, he's like, Jeffrey, what are you doing? You know, did you apply to any colleges? He's like, no, I don't know. Like, he's just kind of too stupid to go to college, you know, kind of thing. You know, have good grades and all this stuff. And his dad, you know, decides that they're going to figure out what he's going to do with his life. And he takes him out to lunch, and Jeffrey tries to tell him that there's something terribly wrong with him. You know, he actually feels some remorse. You know, he feels remorse at that point what he's done, and knows that there's something badly wrong with him. And he needs help, and he reaches out to his vet dad, who's the only person he, you know, would know to tell, you know, to talk to, or you know, reach out. You know, like, help me. This is terribly wrong with me. I've done something terrible. You know, and his dad just shuts him down. He won't let him tell him. He won't hear it.
Robert E. Bob said Jeff had been having fantasies about doing things to people before he did this since he was about 14. And Tracy Klaus says he liked the idea of him being around him all the time. So he liked that when he was moving the body and thinking from there to the house. Right?
Why didn't he clear up this? Like, why did he let the stuff smell? Because the one part I saw, he brought the guy in, and the guy immediately smelled the smell, and he was like, you know, disgusting.
Probably become immune to it by then.
I think, you know, so far gone, he wasn't really, you know, really protect. I mean, he was trying to protect himself from getting caught in many, many ways, but just not in every way, you know? I mean, it was obvious because the neighbor kept complaining and stuff like that. He knew that people noticed that something wrong was there's something really wrong there, and he really wasn't taking all, you know, normally tagged if you're really trying to, you know, consistently get away with it. I was wondering if he kind of wanted to get caught at some point, you know, because of that, because he knew that people were noticing and didn't do anything about it.
Like, yeah, I mean, why couldn't he? You know, I don't know if he put this, like, why did he let it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, also because, you know, he was keeping, you know, body parts as.
I know, but he could have froze things, and
he did. Well, he had. I mean, that barrel, whatever it was, you know, acid. So he was trying to. I guess he was too invested in keeping the bones to get rid of it. I don't, you know.
Right.
Yeah, Moonlight Mars, he says he got fired from every job he had. Huh.
For what? Do you know the reasons? Was he not showing up? I mean, was he?
He was staying up late, be getting drunk, and he would be late or.
Oh
yeah, he drank heavily, drank.
Oh wow.
And he got kicked out of the military.
Yeah.
But see, when his dad went back to the house, they didn't show this part in the movie, but it's just my thinking or my opinion, and I could be wrong, but the way it came across, I think Jeffrey called his dad or something, because when he got there, his dad's like, "Where's your mother?" Talking about the house being a wreck. And he told him, he said he didn't know. And he's like, "Well, how long has she been gone? 3 months. And the dad was completely shocked and unaware that he had been there that long by himself.
Huh. And where was the mother?
That's when she took off with the younger son after she got custody.
She went to Wisconsin or something.
Do what?
She went to Wisconsin or Minnesota, one of those two.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did actually show all of that. He did show all of that, but it kept flipping back and forth. sort of timelines.
Yeah, I was just thinking about you mentioned about like the fantasies he had since he was 14, because in the movie they depicted the killing of the hitchhiker as sort of kind of, like he didn't mean to do it, but but before that, when they were sort of like showing how things led up to that event, he had been driving to the liquor store to get his beer, and just driving around, and it kept showing him passing this one jogger, this young man, the jogger, and noticing him. And at first you thought, well, he's just attracted to this young man,
Right.
behind him and smile and all this stuff. And you're like, okay, what, and then they show him, get all buff by, lifting a lot of weights, getting stronger. And they show him laying in wait. Just one day he lays in wait for the jogger and springs out with a baseball bat to attack him.
Right.
But he freezes at the last second. The jogger just looks like horrified and runs away, Then the next opportunity that presents itself is the hitchhiker along that same road. And he picks him up. And then it shows it like, so he probably, he couldn't have accidentally hit him in the head with the weight, right? But, in a fit of rage, all this stuff, right? But then when he's dead, he freaks out and he's crying, oh God,
Right.
And I assume this is from Jeffrey's account, that he was very, very upset that he killed him, I assume, otherwise why would they depict it that way? But
They made it like accidental.
yeah.
The first one.
Obviously been fantasizing about. I guess he really hadn't thought, that far ahead. He just wanted to disable someone and make them stay. He was so upset because the guy wanted to leave. He just wanted them to stay. He's like, I don't want you to go.
So, I mean, you think if the guy would have stayed, that he wouldn't have killed him? I mean,
probably. I think if he would have stayed and been Jeffrey's friend and Jeffrey's, love or whatever he wanted, if he just acquiesced to all Jeffrey's what
and
Jeffrey
you think
wanted,
then he wouldn't, if that guy would have stayed, would have been his boyfriend, would have moved in with him, you don't think that, you think he would have never done those things? You would have never.
I think maybe not, because this was just the very beginning, and he hadn't killed yet. I don't think I have great doubts about whether he would have ever killed.
I don't know, because when he was at the later on, when he was at the nightclubs and stuff, he kind of had what he wanted on hand, like it's on tap and available everywhere. But he had already killed by that stage. So I think by that stage, it wasn't sort of about being lonely. It was more about, I was going to say before, the way he lost the job that he had at Butcher's was he went to like the state fair was in town. Right. And it was the grandma that actually suggested to go there and, meet friends. And he was reluctant. And then she mentioned, it's not like it used to be, they've even got a beer tent now. And he's like, huh, beer tent? Okay. And he's there, and because he had a drinking problem. And right. He went there, got drunk, and he got arrested for, I think it was it looked like he was self-pleasuring himself, like his pants down in the middle of this state fair with all his family and kids around. Oh, great. And so when he went to work the next morning, being a small town, the owner's like, no, sorry. I heard, heard through the grapevine, what you did. Sorry, can't work here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that makes me think that even if this guy did stay and be his boyfriend and do all that, he would have still killed. He was mentally ill. This was
quite a while. This was years after that.
Oh, after? Yeah. Oh, after. Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Did you ever hear about, there was a guy, I think in Mexico, that was a specialist, and he was studying all the brains, these people had, who were just horrific, psychopathic serial killers and stuff, in the Mexican prisons. They had volunteered to be part of his scientific sort of investigation. And when he did MRIs and stuff on the brain, the one thing they all had in common was, I think it was down the lower sort of back lobe of the brain, there was a membrane where it was joined, whereas normal people didn't have, it was like separated. But all these people, it was like joined. So maybe there is like a physiological like sort of explanation for some of these people that, you know, that it's just like in them, I guess.
That would make me wonder too if, you know, if someone was born with that brain difference, or if that brain difference could have happened during.
Yeah, that's a good question.
You know, yeah.
Real good question. I don't know. I mean, more research is being done. We know that. Maybe we will know more in the next 20 years, hopefully.
So he had a job as a butcher?
I guess so.
Mary, Marline, what is it? Moonlight Marcy is saying, yeah.
Yeah, and then Tracy Klaus said that's how he lost his
No,
butcher.
that was Tracy Klaus that said that. I'm sorry.
And then Moonlight Marcy said something else. The whale noises. I'm not sure what that is. The whale noises, but I don't know.
The whale noises?
I believe he stated himself that he doesn't think that, you know, didn't he state himself that he doesn't think he would have done all this if that hadn't happened with the hitchhiker?
I don't know, but Tracy said he really loved Tony, the deaf guy, and he killed him.
Yeah.
What was he with him for more than a night?
Yeah.
He was?
I believe so. Yeah, Tracy said yes. But maybe she didn't. I don't know if that's an old or a new
That's why I sort of think that was because I believe Jeffrey had made that statement at some point during his interview, but, you know.
Moonlight Marcy said, just reminded me, said he spent a night in a department store.
Oh.
That was hilarious. That was probably the most disturbing part of the movie that I couldn't figure out.
Why?
There was this absolutely gorgeous suit on this mannequin, and he undressed the mannequin, took the suit off, left the suit, and took the mannequin. I was like, man.
Wait, he left the suit and took the mannequin with him?
He took the mannequin home.
It was a nice suit. It was such a nice suit.
What did he do with the mannequin?
He put it in bed and played boyfriend with it.
Really?
Yes, he whispered all the things, whatever, things he had, fantasized about.
This was at his grandma's house, and grandma wasn't allowed in his bedroom.
How old was he?
This was after he'd come back from
like
the
20?
army.
He was 20 by then.
Oh my God! They let him in the army,
and nobody caught him in the department store and taking that.
No, he got away with stealing the mannequin, but his grandmother busted him with the mannequin and threw it away, and he flipped out.
How did he get in the army?
What did he do to the grandmother? Did he hit her?
He screamed, yelled. No, he just screamed and yelled, and then he apologized later. And she said, he's like, why? And she's like, I don't think it's healthy, And later on, when he's apologizing, she said, why would you do that? And he's like, I just think I needed a friend,
But I mean, okay, the garbage was taken away that same day because, wasn't that? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
he was beside himself. That was his temporary solution at the moment was, having this representation of a partner,
right. So I mean, did he? But he didn't think of going and getting another one.
Yeah, right.
I guess not. I mean,
that's what we're saying. Look, how does it go from? I mean, even there's something wrong, but
right. But I mean, yeah. I mean, if that would have stopped him from
killing, nothing would have.
The mannequin was like, how it's sort of a progression of events. So
Yeah.
It was before his actual first kind of encounter with the real man, because then they had flashbacks of what he did to the mannequin to the real person, sort of from one scene to the other. I love the drama, but
was this after the army? This happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it was when he was living at the grandma's house.
Yeah. So how did he pass the psychological exam to get in the army? Is it are they really easy or something? I don't know about anything about the army, but I'm just wondering how.
I guess it depends on how honest his recruiter.
I'm pretty sure he was very smart. He had a high IQ as well.
Yeah, he
and
did have
I think the issue in the army was he started drinking in the army a lot, and yeah.
I think the issue was that he drugged a fellow soldier and took advantage of him. Isn't that what they showed in the movie? Was him?
Yeah, I was going to say he was a
Like
medic or something in the army, and they've got him in the classroom, and this lady's like talking about these different medications, and she was talking about a sedative, and she recommends this one, like, you know, it knocks people out, and he put his hand up and what was that one called again? And wrote a mental like note of it down, and then he went and stole that, and one of the army comrades, I guess, he ended up drugging him, and
They just show
yeah,
they
that
don't
was,
show they just allude to it. They show him drugging some cocoa or something, and you know, calling the guy to his room, and or going to the other guy's room. I'm not sure, and then you know, so you just, you know, you kind of get an idea of what happened, you know.
Yeah, Tracy said, "Are you in the?" I guess it was in the documentary of the movie. "Are you going to church, Grandma?" She says, "Why do you want to go? Why do you want me to go to church?" Little did she know he needed to cut a body in the basement.
Yeah.
And I guess he bought a tape player, Moonlight Marcy, and a whale cassette tape in prison. It sounded like people torture noises. He said he couldn't sleep without it. The guard took it away from him because the inmates complained. There's definitely, I mean, I don't think anything would have prevented him from doing this. I don't, unless there
the
was
most
some
crazy
sort of
thing about watching the most crazy thing about watching that whole documentary is how did he not get like busted sooner? Like there were so many occasions and so many times that you would think
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yes, we're all in agreement.
And why do you know why the guy killed him in prison?
No.
Well, I'm not sure if this is true, but Linda Gelb told me that he was that his grandmother was very religious, and that some people she said nuns, but were you know, giving Jeffrey money that his grandmother had left, you know, for I guess his commissary and things like that.
Right.
And that the fellow prisoner was jealous, you know, of all the, you know, stuff he was getting, you know, and killed him. And I mean,
I thought it might have had something to do also back in that day, like his sexual preference and the fact that he had his crimes were quite horrific, and he was like a cannibal, and it was a pretty, like, what do they call it when they have a kind of like someone that's made a lot of media? The prisoners kind of get a bit of credit for it, like street cred.
Yeah.
Cops wouldn't listen because it was a predominantly black building, Tracy said.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
So it was probably like a combination of them, and because he had killed black victims, yeah.
Wow.
And it kind of makes me wonder too, sort of like, did they turn a blind eye at the time? Because it was
they
sort
did,
of like,
kind of did.
It just seemed kind of very set up, like.
Well, it's strange because when he was arrested, those cops didn't turn a blind eye, but the cops that were called when that poor young man escaped, but he'd been, you know, injured by Jeffrey and he couldn't really communicate. Jeffrey convinced him that he was just his boyfriend and he was really drunk. And, you know, that he just does this, you know, he gets really, you know, drunk and, you know, runs outside.
But I think a lot of that with the cops as well had to do with kind of like the racism thing.
It was
because you notice how many times Jeff mentioned being like homosexual. It's a homosexual thing. It's like, you know, the cops wouldn't understand that, and the cops wouldn't want to go there, so they're just like, oh,
but
you
those
know,
two
like,
cops were obviously extremely homophobic, and just, you know, they were you know, hesitant. There was we gotta go shower, you know, all that stuff, because they didn't want to catch them.
Yeah, de-lice themselves in that. Yeah.
You know, yeah, that's how they acted. That was really disgusting.
Yeah, because you got to remember that like point in time, like things were very different back then. Like it was only
Like, we're not going to
It's
see any
strange.
gay stuff in there, are we? You know, when they're, and you looking at his apartment. He's like, well, yeah, like, yeah, we're good. We don't need to see any of your gay stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty gross. It's really disgusting of them. That poor young man.
But there were so many times that they could have like,
Yeah, it could have been that it could have been done right then and there. You're just like, oh my God. I mean, I was watching. I was like, no, don't leave. Gosh.
you can only imagine the smell, like
Ugh.
because that is such a distinct smell, and
Yes.
because cops are usually very
Yeah, very
aware,
familiar
like
with
they've
that.
smelled that smell before, and
Mhm.
it's in their psyche.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That
that kind
bothers
of made
me.
me
They're
wonder
like,
too.
what's that smell? I mean, dude, you know what that smell is. You know exactly what that smell is. That's death. You need to be like, shutting this place down and combing it with a fine tooth comb because you smell death. Right.
Yeah. One thing I have learnt watching the true crime things is someone used, I think it was like cat litter on a decomposing body to hide the smell.
I don't
that
think
work?
that.
Fun,
I doubt that
fun
would
tip
work.
for all you murderers out there.
Cat work. Cat litter isn't that great with like, cat stuff, so I doubt it's good for decomposing bodies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I never heard that. I lie and whatever, I think, but yeah, I don't know.
He really is a true horror story. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Right.
why I'm, fascinated by him because they're like, how does someone become this much of a monster? And how did this monster get away with so much before he was caught? I mean, how many people did he kill? It was it
I don't know.
10 maybe?
17.
Is that
17?
Sharon?
Yeah,
You know all about this, Sharon?
I don't. I only know some things. I don't know much.
You know a lot more than I do. I don't know very much at all about. I mean, I do.
I don't like to even think about it. It's just this whole thing just is turning my stomach.
I know,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I'm feeling rather nauseous myself. Yeah, about it.
It is, Tracy, a horror story. Truly a horror story.
Horrible.
The part, and then Tracy said there's a part where the cops are phoning the Asian family to torture them. Oh my God, really?
Well, I didn't see that part. I fell asleep, but I didn't see that.
I fell asleep last night too in the Zoom, and I woke up this morning to you guys getting.
That's
ready to
okay.
shop
We
for-
remember we watch you sleep.
We have a 24-hour Zoom.
Really? I
That-
believe
All
it.
part of the service.
Some people like to fall asleep in the Zoom.
Oh my God.
This
What?
is like the second or third time it's happened to
It's going
me.
to
I
become a
know.
habit.
We're done talking about this because it's over, but Moonlight
So
Mars.
disturbing. Oh my God! And you had the movie on last night?
No.
It was
Oh,
a
okay, good, because I thought,
no.
oh my
I
gosh,
felt this
did
way.
my subconscious
Last night
absorb-
was s'mores and ghost story night.
Yeah, I fell asleep, Sharon, on the first that Dahmer thing. I wanted to watch it so bad. I wanted to watch. I was waiting. No, listen. First, like
I'm
maybe
listening.
3 minutes into it, I fell asleep and then my phone died. I didn't watch any of it.
That was God looking out for you. 'Cause she doesn't really want to watch this.
Nah.
Oh, Moonlight Marcy just said, yes, he drank blood, and Tracy Collier said, Moonlight, I almost vomited at that part.
I want to read that. Why
Yeah, I
said,
couldn't for
That's
some
the-
reason
that's
when
the
that
part.
Sharon,
remember
that's
that
what-
that thing that Drew Barrymore was in? It was like a dark comedy, like Santa Clarita or something.
Oh, I like.
And they
Santa
kept having
Clarita.
her drink blood in the. I couldn't watch. That was I don't know. I don't remember where I was at that point in my life,
Was
but I
funny,
would
but
look at that trailer and like vomit, and I was like, "How can I
Yeah.
watch that? Like I can't even watch
It's
that."
not. Carolyn, it's not blood though. Just think of that.
No, I
Very-
know, but it just made me so ill. This was like a dark comedy, and I just couldn't watch it.
I saw the whole thing. I loved it. It was funny. It made me laugh.
Ugh.
Santa Santa Clarita Diet. It
Yes,
was
the
great.
Santa Claus. Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, I thought you were
Great
talking about
stuff.
Dharma.
That show was so funny.
Oh my gosh,
It was state
but I was at a certain, I
Yeah.
don't know what it was, but I would
Santa
look at that and I would
Diet.
like vomit, and I'd say, no, I can't.
Yeah. Hi, Annie. How are you?
Hi, Annie.
No, I actually vomited when he drank the blood, and it gave me a flashback from when I watched at the movies. What is it, Jackass? And they were drinking sweat that they'd got from this guy's body. Like they
And you vomited?
and collected sweat and drank the
All
sweat.
right. No
I
more.
was like, I got that was like,
Someone knock on
Alright.
the window when we're done with this, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave
Okay,
it.
if we're gonna be done with that now.
all right, we're done.
All right. Moonlight. Yeah, she said Tuesday. All right. No,
All right, don't read it out loud.
don't say it. Don't even look at it. Marcy, we love you. It's not you. It's me. It's me.
Moonlight said, kittens,
Yeah.
puppy dogs, fairy floss,
was-
rainbows.
Read that.
Everybody think of hugs and puppies, hugs and puppies.
All right. Oh my gosh, it's when I looked at the clock the last time, it was 3. Now it's 5. Are you kidding me? We've got to go.
No way.
All right, so we're gonna go for the night. Thanks for watching. Hope that you come back later. We'll see you, and we'll see you. And
Sweet
anybody who
dreams.
wants to join the Zoom, we'll see you in Zoom. Okay, bye. God bless. Prayers for all that need them. We'll see you
Love you.
tomorrow. Bye.
I know we're gonna-
Thanks for the moderation.